There is a sound in the spirit that the world cannot hear. It is not the voice of fear, nor the roar of scarcity, nor the whispers of doubt that echo through your mind at night. It is the voice of divine supply, calling your name, saying, "All that is mine is already yours." Most will never hear it, because they are too busy chasing money, while money is waiting to chase them, too busy complaining about bills, while wealth is waiting at their door. Beloved, you were never meant to beg for provision. You were never meant to scrape and strive and plead with heaven. The Bible declares, "My sheep hear my voice." And when you learn to listen, truly listen, everything changes. Doors open without force. Opportunities appear without struggle. Money comes not by accident, not by luck, but by spiritual law. And that law is speaking to you right now. Beloved, money is not running from you. It is not hiding, nor is it reserved for some chosen few. Money is calling you. There is a sound in the spirit, a vibration of divine supply, that moves through every circumstance whispering, "All that is mine is already yours." But this voice is soft, so soft that few ever hear it. The noise of the world is deafening fear of lack, endless news of economic collapse, voices of comparison and doubt, all of it designed to drown out the call of spirit. And so, while many spend their lives chasing money, money itself waits, like a loyal servant, for someone to hear its true call. The wealthy are not always those who work the hardest. Often, they are those who have learned a higher law, to quiet their minds and tune their hearts to the frequency of abundance. They are like the sheep in Scripture, who know their shepherd's voice. The Bible says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Those who are attuned to this spiritual frequency are guided into provision without force, without panic, and without begging. They move with grace, and opportunities flow to them as naturally as water runs downhill. Wealth is not a matter of luck or privilege. It is a matter of alignment. Divine law is exact and impartial, just like gravity. It does not favor one and abandon another. It responds to vibration. When your thoughts and words are filled with fear, you repel your good. But when your spirit is filled with faith, gratitude, and expectation, you become a magnet to all that is yours by divine right. This is why Spirit is calling you today, to remind you that you were never created to live in fear of tomorrow, but to walk in harmony with spiritual law that has already declared you rich. There is a reason why your inner self longs for more, why something inside of you knows that lack is unnatural. Spirit placed within you a divine memory of abundance. Deep down, your soul remembers Eden, a state of perfect provision where nothing was withheld. And even now, the Spirit whispers, "Beloved, you are mine, and all that I have is yours." That whisper is the call of wealth. It is not a call to greed or material obsession. It is a call back to truth, to recognize that the Creator has already stored up everything you will ever need. But here is the secret: this call cannot be through worry or striving. It cannot be accessed through restless toil or anxious grasping. It is only heard when you become still and remember who you are. You are not a beggar. You are a child of God. You are not a slave to money. Money is a servant of spiritual law, created to serve you. When you rise in consciousness, your vibration changes, and wealth begins to respond to your authority. Money is not meant to be chased. It is meant to be commanded, not with arrogance, but with faith. When you listen to the call of Spirit, you stop running after provision, because you realize that provision has been running after you. The Bible says, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." Think of that: your blessings are following you, waiting for you to stop running in circles long enough to receive them. So today, Spirit asks you this: are you listening? Or are you too distracted by fear? Are you tuned in to the voice of infinite supply? Or are you tuned in to the scarcity of this world? For wealth is not waiting for the economy to improve. It is not delayed by government policies, inflation, or statistics. Wealth moves on spiritual law, and spiritual law is eternal. Those who listen rise above worldly limitations because they operate by a higher authority. Beloved, it is time to listen. Spirit is calling your name, and when you answer, the gates of provision will open. The money, the ideas, the resources, the opportunities, They are already yours. You do not need to chase them. You need only tune your heart to the frequency of divine supply, and everything that belongs to you by divine right will flow to you effortlessly, under grace, in perfect timing. You have been taught to hustle, grind, and exhaust yourself as though wealth were some distant mountain to climb, as if the harder you sweat, the higher you rise. But beloved, divine law does not reward exhaustion, it rewards alignment. Heaven does not open its vaults because you have worn yourself out. It opens when you finally stop running and dare to believe. Spirit does not respond to frantic effort but to faith. The world has conditioned you to believe that sleepless nights and endless striving are badges of honor. You've been told, work harder, push more, fight for every penny. And yet how many people live like that and remain one step away from ruin? Striving, without spiritual wisdom, is like rowing against a current. The harder you row, the more exhausted you become, and yet you never seem to arrive. Divine law looks at all that noise and says, "Be still and know that I am God." A stillness is not laziness. Stillness is divine strategy. In stillness, your mind quiets, and you finally hear the soft instruction of Spirit, the wisdom that shows you where to cast your net, the idea that changes your life overnight, the guidance that hustle could never produce. It is in this stillness that miracles are born. The Israelites were not delivered from Egypt by outworking Pharaoh. They were delivered because Moses heard a voice from a burning bush that said, "Go." One word from Spirit will do more than a lifetime of striving. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that what you chase, you repel. The harder you chase money, the more it runs from you because your energy is declaring, "I don't have enough." Your fear becomes a magnet for scarcity. But when you rest in divine trust, when you know that your supply is guaranteed by law, you radiate confidence and money flows to you naturally. People, opportunities, and resources are drawn to a person who moves with faith. Think of the flowers. They do not labor, they do not hustle to grow, yet even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of them. Why? Because they are in perfect alignment with Spirit. They open when the sun rises. They bloom when it is time. They are not anxious about tomorrow. They trust the law that governs their growth. And Spirit says, "If I clothe the lilies of the field, how much more will I clothe you?" This is not a call to idleness. This is a call to wisdom. Spirit does not endorse laziness, but Spirit refuses to bless fear-driven striving. You are meant to work from inspiration, not desperation. Striving keeps you stuck in survival mode, but listening elevates you to creation mode. When you listen to Spirit, every action you take becomes supercharged with divine timing and power. You will accomplish in one inspired step what others spend years trying to achieve in their own strength. Beloved, I invite you to shift your perspective today. You are not a slave to money. Money is not your master. Money is your servant, created to obey divine order. You were never meant to crawl through life hoping for scraps. You were designed to command abundance with your word. Scripture says, "Decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." This is your inheritance. You do not have to beg for what heaven has already declared as yours. So take a breath, release the tension in your shoulders. Stop rehearsing fear and scarcity in your mind. Instead, speak in faith, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. I trust divine timing, I move in grace." And then, listen. The next step will come, and when it does, it will not drain you. It will elevate you. The truth is, this striving is not proof of faith. It is proof of fear, and fear is a terrible master. When you choose to listen to Spirit, you step into a rhythm where life flows like a river. You stop wrestling with circumstances and start walking in authority. You will know peace even in a storm because your confidence is not in effort but in divine law. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart, but doubt and fear." When you eliminate fear, you eliminate resistance. When you eliminate resistance, your good comes rushing in. Spirit is calling you today to lay down the burden of striving and step into the effortless rhythm of faith. Your blessing is not hiding from you. Your wealth is not far from you. All that is yours is already here, waiting for you to listen. Beloved, Do you know that your words carry frequencies? They are not empty sounds floating into the air. They are spiritual commands sent forth to shape your world. Money listens. Opportunities listen. The entire universe bends its ear to every syllable you speak, every thought you repeat. The Bible says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Think of that. Every word you utter is either sowing seeds of lack or seeds of abundance. If your speech is filled with words like, "I can't," "I'm broke," "I never have enough," then lack will answer you, for lack is obedient to your voice. Words are not harmless, they are containers of energy. Every time you declare your own poverty, every time you speak fear, you are calling forth more of it. The law of your word is precise and impartial, and it does not delay its response. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Your word is your wand." A wand is an instrument of creation. The magician does not wave it in panic, he waves it in faith, expecting immediate transformation. You, too, are wielding a wand every time you open your mouth. Money listens. When you speak confidently and gratefully about wealth, when you declare, "I walk in the light of divine supply," unseen forces rearrange themselves to match your decree. Doors open, ideas come. People are drawn to you. Your words are like keys turning in spiritual locks. But if your words are careless and negative, you lock yourself out of your own blessings. Florence often warned that every idle word will return to you. This isn't punishment, it's principle. Spirit is not withholding anything from you. Your words are either inviting or rejecting your good. The Bible says, "By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned." If you want to change your life, you must first change your language. There is no neutral speech. Every sentence plants a seed. "I can't afford this," plants the seed of scarcity. "I never have enough," plants the seed of insufficiency. But when you say, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," you plant the seed of abundance, and heaven rushes to fulfill it. Your word carries creative power because you are made in the image of a creator who spoke the world into being. Genesis says, "And God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." Notice that God did not toil or sweat to create light. He spoke it, and it was so. You have been given the same creative authority. Beloved, I urge you to guard your mouth as a sacred gate. Watch your words as carefully as you would watch over a priceless treasure, for they are more valuable than gold. Every morning, affirm your wealth as if it is already here. I am a magnet for divine supply. All that is mine by divine right flows to me easily and effortlessly under grace. This is not pretending, this is commanding spiritual law to align with truth. When you complain, you are rehearsing fear, and fear multiplies. When you speak faith, you are rehearsing victory, and victory multiplies. Do not allow careless words to sabotage your harvest. Begin speaking life over your finances, your work, and your future. Say, "My cup runs over. I walk in abundance. I expect miracles." Speak these words with conviction until they sink so deeply into your subconscious that they become your automatic response. Florence said, "What man voices, he begins to attract. If you speak lack, you attract lack. If you speak wealth, you attract wealth. The choice is yours, and heaven stands ready to obey. You can use your words to build a prison of limitation or a palace of provision. So here is your lesson today: stop speaking fear. Stop prophesying struggle over your own life. Begin to speak as one who knows their divine inheritance. When you speak in faith, the unseen rearranges itself to fulfill your decree. Angels respond to the voice of God's word spoken through your lips. Money becomes your servant, not your master. Doors of opportunity swing open because you have called them open with your words. Beloved, your life right now is the fruit of yesterday's words, and tomorrow's life will be the fruit of what you speak today. The moral is simple: guard your tongue, and you will guard your destiny. Choose words of power, gratitude, and expectation, and you will call forth a life that matches heaven's design. The universe is not deaf, it is listening for your voice. Speak wealth, and wealth will obey. Beloved, there is an ear within you that does not belong to your body. It is not attached to your head but to your spirit. It is what Jesus meant when he said, He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. This inner ear is not distracted by noise. It is not moved by fear. It is the ear of faith, and through it, you can hear the voice of divine supply calling your name. The truth is, money has been calling you, opportunity has been calling you, your blessing has been calling you. But too often, the noise of worry has drowned it out. We live in a world full of voices, the voice of scarcity whispering, "You'll never have enough." The voice of fear saying, "This is too risky." The voice of doubt mocking, "Who do you think you are to believe for abundance?" These voices are loud because they feed on your attention. But beneath that noise, there is another voice, a still, steady, commanding voice, that says, "Fear not, for I am your supply. All that is mine is already yours." It is this voice you must learn to hear. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that faith is a spiritual receiver. Just like a radio tunes in to a certain frequency, your spirit must be tuned to the frequency of abundance. If your faith is tuned to fear, you will only hear static, you will only see limitation. But when you tune your heart to trust in divine law, your inner ear opens, and you begin to hear instructions that lead to miracles. Beloved, every financial breakthrough begins not with effort but with hearing. Hearing is the birthplace of wealth. A man may toil his whole life and accomplish little, while another hears one divine instruction and becomes wealthy in a day. Consider the story in Scripture where Peter fished all night and caught nothing. Exhaustion covered him. Yet, when Jesus said, "Cast your net on the other side," Peter obeyed, and the nets became so full they nearly broke. One word from Spirit accomplished more than an entire night of striving. This is the power of hearing with the inner ear of faith. So I ask you, are you listening? Are you quiet enough to hear Spirit's whispers over the shouting of fear? Divine guidance will not compete for your attention. It waits for you to be still. "Be still and know that I am God" is not a suggestion, it is a command. Stillness is where you receive divine strategies that no business course can teach, no market trend can predict, no human wisdom can duplicate. This is why wealth is not merely for the clever or the well-connected. Wealth flows to those who can hear. The greatest entrepreneurs, innovators, and creators are not just talented, they are listeners. They sense timing others miss. They see opportunities others overlook. Why? Because they have cultivated the art of hearing what others cannot. The spiritual world is always speaking, always guiding, always sending supply your way. But if you live in constant panic, you will never hear it. Florence said, "There is always supply for every demand." Imagine that. Every need you could ever have is already matched with a provision that exists right now in the invisible. It's already here, waiting for you to tune in. And how do you tune in? By faith. Faith is not blind hope, faith is spiritual hearing. Faith says, "Though I don't see it yet, I hear Spirit telling me it is mine." And when you trust what you hear, your actions become precise, your timing becomes perfect, and your words carry authority. Beloved, you do not have to chase wealth. You need only sharpen your spiritual ear. Train yourself to hear Spirit's whisper over the roar of your own doubts. Every morning, ask, "Spirit, what is my next step?" Then wait in quiet expectation. Guidance will come, not through fear but through peace. The voice of Spirit always brings clarity, never confusion, peace, never panic. Here is your moral lesson: stop trusting in the noise. Stop letting headlines, statistics, and fear dictate your future. Wealth is not created in the noise, it is revealed in the stillness. If you can hear God's voice in a storm, the storm will not shake you. If you can hear Spirit when everything looks impossible, the impossible will bow to your faith. The richest people are not always the loudest. They are often those who have learned to be quiet enough to listen. Money does not respond to worry, it responds to authority. Authority is born from hearing divine instruction and acting in faith. This is why Scripture says, "Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God." Your inner ear is your gateway to supernatural provision. Listen, and you will not have to chase. Listen, and money will come. Listen, and doors will open that no man can shut. Beloved, money is not evil. It is not a cold piece of paper or metal coin without meaning. Money is spiritual substance, an instrument in the divine symphony of life. It was never meant to belong to greed, fear, or control. Money is meant to serve love. It is meant to carry blessings. It is meant to flow with gratitude and generosity. And when you understand this, when you finally treat money as holy, you step into a sacred exchange that will change everything about your finances. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that everything in life is a form of circulation. Just as blood flows through your veins to keep you alive, just as rivers flow to nourish the earth, so too must money flow in order to bring life to your dreams. Money is not meant to stagnate. It is not meant to be hoarded with fear. When you hoard money in fear, it loses its vitality and becomes like stagnant water, heavy and lifeless. But when you release it with joy, when you bless it as it flows out, it becomes like a river that always returns, bringing more than you gave. The Bible declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not a poetic suggestion. It is divine mathematics. Heaven's economy does not operate like the world's. The world says, hold tightly, protect, save yourself first. But Spirit says, what you release in faith multiplies, what you bless expands, what you give returns tenfold. Think of the farmer. He does not fear when he throws seeds into the earth. He does not say, if I give these seeds, I will have nothing left. No, he knows that in surrendering those seeds, he is guaranteeing a harvest. The soil multiplies what is sown in the same way. When you release money with gratitude and expectation, you are planting wealth into the rich soil of Spirit, and Spirit has promised that it will return to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Beloved, this is not mere charity, this is law. This is the rhythm of divine supply. This is the economy of heaven, which has never experienced recession, shortage, or lack. The more you trust this rhythm, the more you will see it at work in your life. When you give with joy instead of fear, when you bless every bill you pay, saying, I bless this money knowing it brings good to all and returns to me multiplied, you step into a flow where your supply becomes endless. This is why Florence often told her students to tithe, not out of obligation, but as a demonstration of trust. When you joyfully return a portion of your income to Spirit's work, you are saying, I know where my true source lies. My job is not my supply, Spirit is. My bank account is not my source, heaven is. This act of faith sets miracles in motion because it proves that fear no longer controls your money. Money is energy, and energy follows intention. If you spend with resentment, you block the flow. If you hold back in fear, you dam up the river. But when you give joyfully, you become a magnet for abundance. Spirit will find ways to bring it back to you, often in ways you could never have imagined. Unexpected checks, surprise opportunities, divine connections, doors you didn't even know existed. Beloved, wealth is not about accumulating piles of paper. It is about learning to participate in the sacred exchange. The rich are not those who clutch their money tightly, but those who understand its rhythm. Money comes alive in their hands because they use it to bless others, to create beauty, to spread good. And Spirit says, to him that hath, more shall be given. Here is your lesson: if you want more, you must give more. Not recklessly, but faithfully. Not with fear, but with joy. Stop calling money evil. Stop cursing it. Stop resenting every dollar that leaves your hand. Begin to bless it as your servant, your messenger, your seed. Speak over it. This money goes forth under grace and returns to me multiplied and overflowing. And then watch, as surely as the tide comes in, that wealth will return to you. You see, prosperity is not about possession, it is about flow. When you allow Spirit to use you as a channel, you will never run dry. Just as the widow in Scripture poured her last bit of oil and found her jar miraculously filled again and again, so will your supply multiply when you trust this law. The sacred exchange is not a theory, it is a spiritual fact. Wealth does not flow to the fearful but to the faithful. The more you bless, the more heaven opens. The more you trust, the more miracles you see. So I challenge you today: release fear. Release tightness. Release the lie that says giving will make you poor. Step into this divine circulation and say, I give with joy. I bless every dollar I spend. I expect it to return to me in overflowing measure. This is how you rise above the world's economy and tap into heaven's endless supply. Beloved, scarcity is not real, it is a spell, an illusion cast by fear, sustained by worry, and strengthened every time you speak words of lack. It whispers in your mind, there isn't enough. You'll never have enough. You must fight and scrape for your portion. And so, millions live under this shadow, imprisoned by a lie so convincing that they think it is reality. But I tell you today, scarcity is not a spiritual truth. It is a mental mirage. Spirit has never withheld from you. Heaven's vaults are overflowing right now with everything you need, but fear has placed a veil over your eyes. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, fear is only inverted faith. It is faith in evil instead of good. Scarcity survives because you believe in it. You repeat its lies. You rehearse its narratives. You say things like, money is hard to come by. There are no opportunities for me. Or, I'll never get ahead. These words are incantations, spells cast over your own life. And as long as you speak them, they create a wall that blocks the flow of supply. But here is the truth. Spirit has given you authority to break this spell. Not tomorrow, not when the economy changes, not when someone gives you permission. But now. The authority is in your word, for you are made in the image of the Creator, and creation begins with a spoken decree. Scripture says, thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. This is the key to freedom. Right now, I want you to open your mouth and declare, Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. All that is mine by divine right comes quickly and easily under grace. When you speak these words with conviction, you are not begging. You are commanding. You are breaking the spell that has held you in bondage. You are summoning divine law to rearrange circumstances on your behalf. The angels of supply, who have been standing ready, rush to fulfill your decree. Doors that were locked swing open. Delayed blessings are released. Your mind begins to shift from fear to faith, and as it does, scarcity crumbles like dust. Beloved, this is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual science. Scarcity cannot survive in the presence of faith-filled words. Fear cannot stand where divine truth is spoken with authority. When you align your speech with heaven's reality, the illusion of lack loses its grip, and your life begins to reflect divine abundance. Florence said, your word is your wand. Imagine holding a wand of pure spiritual power in your hand. Every time you speak a decree of truth, you wave that wand, and the unseen begins to move. What was once stuck begins to flow. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Your words are not empty sounds. They are blueprints that instruct the universe. Stop speaking curses over your life. Stop reinforcing scarcity by saying, I can't afford this, or money is always tight. These words are chains. Break them. Replace them with declarations of abundance. I walk in the light of divine supply. I am richly blessed. All that I need comes to me quickly and easily under grace. Say it until it becomes your reality. Beloved, heaven is not withholding your good. Scarcity is only the shadow of fear cast across your perception. The moment you speak truth, light floods in, and the shadow dissolves. There is no power in scarcity except the power you give it. Withdraw your agreement with lack today. Stand in your authority as a child of God, and declare your inheritance. Picture it now, angels racing to deliver answers, opportunities, and unexpected provision. See the heavy doors of heaven's vault swinging wide. Feel the atmosphere around you shift as divine supply rushes to fill every empty space. This is not imagination. This is law. What you decree in faith becomes your experience. So I challenge you, start every morning with this declaration. Speak it with confidence. Speak it until your very cells believe it. Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. All that is mine by divine right comes quickly and easily under grace. Speak it over your bank account, your job, your business, your home. Speak it over your future. Speak it until scarcity has no place left to hide. Scarcity is a spell, but beloved, you are the one with the wand. The moment you open your mouth and speak truth with faith, the illusion breaks, heaven moves, and your life will never look the same. Beloved, the world has taught you to equate success with movement, constant doing, endless striving, and ceaseless noise. You are told that wealth is found in rushing, hustling, and filling every second with action. But Spirit whispers, "Be still, and know that I am God." Stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is not laziness. Stillness is power. For in the quiet chambers of your soul, divine ideas are born that will change everything about your life. Florence Scovel Shinn knew this truth deeply. She wrote that intuition is Spirit's direct line to you, a hotline from heaven to your heart. Some call it instinct, others call it inspiration. But it is not random thought or fleeting imagination. It is divine intelligence, Spirit itself speaking in a language only your soul understands. And this voice cannot be heard in the roar of worry or the rush of human reasoning. It is heard in silence. You see, beloved, silence is not absence, silence is presence. It is in the quiet of prayer and meditation that the Creator downloads strategies for wealth that no earthly advisor could give. The world may laugh at this idea. It will tell you to network harder, to fight harder, to stay busier. But have you noticed how those who are truly wealthy seem calm, collected, and deeply grounded? That is not an accident. They have tapped into the rhythm of Spirit, and Spirit's rhythm is peace. In stillness, kings are crowned, fortunes are birthed, and destinies are revealed. Think of Moses, who received his divine instructions not in chaos but alone on a mountain, surrounded by silence. Think of Jesus, who withdrew to solitary places to pray, and from that stillness healed nations and raised the dead. Every great breakthrough in history has come from someone willing to withdraw, to quiet their mind, and to listen. Florence said, "Intuition is a spiritual faculty that never explains, but simply points the way." When you learn to be still, you begin to sense this guidance. You may not hear a booming voice from heaven, but you will feel a nudge, a deep knowing that says, "Go here. Call this person. Start this business. Trust this idea." And when you obey these divine nudges, they lead you to wealth in ways your reasoning could never have imagined. Beloved, your next idea, the one that will shift your entire financial reality, will not come in the noise of panic or the frenzy of overthinking. It will come like a whisper in the quiet of your spirit. The wealth of stillness is that you do not need to chase answers. Answers come to you. Spirit longs to speak to you, to give you the blueprint for abundance, but it will not compete with the loud voice of fear. That is why meditation, prayer, and affirmation are not optional. They are your lifeline. When you take time to be still, you are stepping into the throne room of divine supply. You are saying, "I trust Spirit more than I trust the noise of this world," and in that sacred trust, miracles are born. The richest treasures are not found in the marketplace first. They are first birthed in the spirit realm, downloaded into the mind of one who dared to listen. Do not underestimate the wealth of silence. When you quiet your mind, your entire being becomes receptive. You open yourself like fertile soil, ready to receive the seeds of divine ideas that will produce a harvest of wealth. One idea from Spirit can do more for you than a lifetime of toil. One divine connection, orchestrated by heaven, can change your entire destiny. And these treasures are revealed not through striving, but through stillness. So I urge you, beloved, begin your mornings in silence. Take time to pray not just with your words, but with your listening. Sit with the affirmation, "Infinite Spirit, reveal to me the perfect plan for my life. Lead me in the paths of abundance and peace." Speak it, then listen. Trust that heaven is not silent. It is only waiting for you to tune in. Wealth responds to stillness because stillness aligns you with Spirit's flow. In stillness, you realize you were never meant to chase money. Money is meant to be magnetized to your peace, your clarity, your faith. True riches are not created in chaos. They are conceived in quiet and brought forth through confident, inspired action. Be still, beloved, and watch as heaven begins to speak in ways that change everything. Beloved, the world has taught you to run, to chase, to exhaust yourself in pursuit of what Spirit has already prepared. You have been told that wealth is elusive, that success is only for the few, that love, opportunity, and prosperity are like rare treasures buried deep beneath impossible ground. But I tell you today, Spirit knows your name. Spirit knows your location. Spirit has already assigned every blessing with your address stamped upon it. You were never meant to chase, you were created to attract. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart, but doubt and fear." It is not a lack of opportunity holding you back. It is the spell of fear whispering that you are not worthy, that you are not ready, that good things are hard to come by. This lie has caused so many to live like beggars when they were born as heirs. But Spirit is calling you to rise higher. When you become the listener, you become the magnet. You no longer beg, you declare. You no longer live in fear, you expect. This is the frequency of faith, and faith is the most irresistible force in the universe. Scripture says, "Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear." That means supply is not coming. It is already prepared. The answer is not on its way. It is already waiting for you. Spirit is simply drawing you into alignment so you can see what has been yours all along. Think of the sun, beloved. It does not chase the flowers, it simply shines, and every flower turns toward it. In the same way, when your faith radiates, money, opportunities, relationships, and miracles are drawn to you like metal to a magnet. You no longer have to run after what is yours. Your energy, your expectation, your unwavering declaration calls it forth. Florence often said, "No man can escape his own words." If you have spoken fear, you have magnetized fear. If you have declared lack, you have attracted lack. But today, you can reverse the magnet. You can shift your entire vibration by declaring truth. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right. Speak it until the cells of your body hum with faith. Speak it until heaven responds, for heaven must respond to the voice of faith. Beloved, you were never designed to live in desperation. The deer does not fear its water, it is drawn to it. The bird does not beg for the wind, it simply spreads its wings and rides it. The same Spirit that feeds the sparrows and clothes the lilies is orchestrating your life right now. The same divine mind that flung stars into galaxies has already arranged divine appointments, open doors, and miraculous provision for you. When you align with faith, you step into this current, and suddenly, life begins to chase you with blessings. This is not arrogance, this is law. This is not wishful thinking, this is spiritual science. Florence said, "Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to happen. Nothing is too good to last." When you live by this truth, your energy shifts, and your very presence becomes magnetic. People feel it when you walk into a room. Opportunities sense it. Money responds to it. Doors that were sealed shut swing wide because heaven's authority walks with you. Here is your assignment. Stop speaking like a beggar. Stop praying as if you must convince God to bless you. Start declaring as one who knows their inheritance. Speak over your life. All that is mine by divine right comes quickly and easily under grace. Say it in the morning, whisper it at night, and watch as unseen forces rearrange themselves to obey your faith. Beloved, Spirit has already answered. Spirit has already prepared the table. The moment you stop chasing and start listening, you step into divine magnetism. You will find that what once felt distant now seeks you. The opportunities you thought you missed will circle back. The provision you've been waiting for will appear in unexpected ways. The people meant to bless you will find you without effort, for Spirit Himself is your GPS. Become the magnet. Align with the truth that supply is not scarce, that blessings are not limited, that heaven is not slow. You are not behind, you are right on time. Today, release the chase, step into the stillness, and declare your rightful inheritance. Watch as money, miracles, and opportunities rush toward you with the speed of divine intention. For when you become the magnet, all creation conspires to deliver your good. Beloved, pause now. Take a deep breath, quiet your mind, and feel the atmosphere around you shift as heaven leans in to hear your words. This is not an ordinary moment. This is a holy appointment. Spirit is present, ready to seal this truth upon your life. Let us speak together now, not as beggars, not as those hoping for scraps, but as heirs of the kingdom, speaking with the authority of divine law. I am attuned to the voice of Spirit. I hear the call of divine supply, and I answer with joy. All that belongs to me by divine right flows to me now in perfect order under grace and in divine timing. Beloved, these are not empty words, this is a decree. When you speak them, the invisible realm responds. Angels move at your command, opportunities align with your steps, and doors you thought were sealed swing wide with ease. For Spirit Himself has said, before they call, I will answer. The supply you've been seeking is already on its way, prepared, packaged, and stamped with your name. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, a person knowing the power of the word becomes a law unto themselves. This is your moment to become a law unto yourself, not bound by fear, not ruled by lack, but governed by divine abundance. As you speak these words daily, you are not just repeating a prayer, you are rewriting your life. You are lifting yourself out of the vibration of struggle and planting your feet firmly on the frequency of faith. Speak it with authority. Speak it as one who knows that heaven backs their voice. Speak it until your very heartbeat echoes these words, until your thoughts and actions align with this truth so deeply that miracles no longer surprise you. They become your new normal. Every time you decree, all that belongs to me by divine right flows to me now. You are opening spiritual pipelines. You are calling forth money, opportunities, relationships, health, and divine protection. You are commanding what is yours to come, not through force, but through faith, under grace, and in perfect timing. You are aligning yourself with the rhythm of Spirit, and in that alignment, there is no delay, no obstruction, no fear. Beloved, money does not come to the one who panics, it comes to the one who listens. Miracles are not reserved for the few. They flow to the one who is still enough to hear Spirit's whisper. You have heard that whisper today. You have felt that inner confirmation that wealth is not something you chase. It is something you call, and it comes running because it knows your voice. So write this decree on your heart. Speak it over your mornings, whisper it over your evenings, and declare it until your environment bends to match your faith. I am attuned to the voice of Spirit. I hear the call of divine supply, and I answer with joy. All that belongs to me by divine right flows to me now in perfect order, under grace, and in divine timing. You are not waiting for heaven to notice you. Heaven has always been waiting for you to speak with authority. Today, you have spoken. Today, you have heard the call. And today, the law of divine supply is set in motion on your behalf. Watch as your world rearranges itself to reflect this truth, for this is not a wish, this is law. Beloved, go forth today knowing that supply is not far from you. It is within you, already prepared and waiting for your recognition. Speak boldly, walk in faith, and expect miracles at every turn. For the one who listens shall never lack, and all that is yours by divine right is even now rushing to meet you under grace and in perfect timing.
There is an emotion that stops miracles. It slows the current of blessings. It shuts the door to money, love, and opportunity, and most people feel it every single day without even knowing it. You might have felt it this morning. That tiny moment of tightness in your chest when you thought about your bills. That sigh of doubt when you looked at your dreams and whispered, maybe it's not meant for me. That hidden fear, the one you never say out loud, but carry like a weight inside your heart. Beloved, that emotion is not anger. It is not jealousy. It is fear, the quiet, invisible kind that dresses itself as worry, overthinking, or control. Fear is faith turned upside down. It is believing more in loss than in divine supply. It is trusting struggle more than grace. Florence Scovel Shinn said, faith never fights, it knows. And that is the difference between the soul that attracts abundance and the soul that blocks it. The one who knows rests. The one who fears resists. Every time you feel fear, the flow pauses. Every time you trust, it begins again. Because fear says, I am alone. But faith whispers, I am guided. And today, I will show you how to stop letting fear block your flow. And how to turn that same emotion into the magnet that draws everything you've ever prayed for. Everything in your life moves according to energy. Every thought, every word, every emotion sends a current through the invisible. And that current either opens or closes the flow of abundance. Emotion is energy in motion. It is not just a feeling. It is the power that communicates with the universe. When you feel joy, the current of life moves freely. When you feel gratitude, heaven rushes toward you. But when you feel fear, the current tightens, the light dims. The stream of blessings slows down, not because spirit has stopped loving you, but because your vibration has stopped allowing. Fear is not the absence of faith. It is faith in the wrong direction. It is faith in failure, faith in loss, faith in limitation. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man must stop fearing and begin to have faith." That is the key. Because every time you fear, you are praying backward. You are affirming the very thing you do not want. And the universe, so faithful, so obedient to your vibration, begins to mirror it back. Say this now: I release fear and I welcome peace. Again, I release fear and I welcome peace. One more time, I release fear and I welcome peace. Beloved, the universe does not respond to your words alone. It responds to the emotion behind them. If you speak prosperity but feel panic, the message is confusion. But if you speak peace and feel peace, your energy becomes magnetic. Your words become law. When you feel fear, you constrict. You close your heart, you tighten your energy, and abundance cannot breathe through you. You start to overthink, to plan, to control, trying to make life move faster by effort, when the only true movement comes from faith. Think of electricity. The current can only move through a clear wire. If the wire is tangled, the energy weakens. Fear is that tangle. It twists your energy into knots of doubt and worry. Faith untangles it. Gratitude strengthens it. Peace completes the circuit. Say this now: my peace keeps the current of abundance flowing. Again, my peace keeps the current of abundance flowing. You are never punished for feeling fear. You are only invited to rise above it. Fear is simply a signal, a reminder that you have forgotten your connection to divine source. And the moment you remember, the fear dissolves, because love and fear cannot live in the same place. Florence said, "Man can only receive what he feels is his by divine right." If you feel fear, you are telling the universe, "This blessing might not be mine." If you feel peace, you are saying, "It already is." And the universe, ever faithful, agrees with whichever emotion speaks louder. Beloved, emotion is creative power. It is the invisible hand that molds your visible world. If you could see your energy, you would see it changing color with every feeling you choose. Fear makes it heavy and dull. Faith makes it golden and light. Gratitude makes it radiant and magnetic. The universe reads this energy the way an artist reads light. It paints your life with the colors you emit. That is why your emotional state is sacred. It is not just personal, it is creative. Say this now: my emotions create miracles when aligned with love. Again, my emotions create miracles when aligned with love. You cannot manifest abundance from an emotion of lack. You cannot attract peace from a state of panic. You cannot call in joy from a heart filled with fear. You must become what you wish to receive. When you feel peace, you invite peace. When you feel wealth, you attract wealth. When you feel trust, the doors of supply open. Fear may knock, but faith answers the door. Fear may whisper, but peace speaks louder, and peace always wins. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that nothing stands between man and his highest good but fear. That means the moment fear leaves, your highest good appears. The money you prayed for, the opportunity you longed for, the idea you needed. All of it is waiting just beyond that emotional barrier called fear. So now, choose differently. Choose to no longer feed fear with your focus. Do not analyze it, argue with it, or justify it. Simply replace it. When fear says, "What if it doesn't work?" you say, "What if it already has?" When fear says, "You might fail," you say, "I am divinely guided, and I cannot fail." When fear says, "You don't have enough," you say, "The supply of spirit is unlimited, and it is flowing to me now." I say this now: I trust the invisible law of abundance. Again, I trust the invisible law of abundance. Every time you choose peace over panic, you build new spiritual momentum. You start to feel lighter. You begin to see synchronicities, the small miracles that prove the law is working, because peace is the permission slip the universe has been waiting for. Money, success, opportunities, they are not far away. They are simply waiting for your emotion to match their vibration. When you calm your energy, you become a match for miracles. Fear blocks abundance. Peace unlocks it, and you have the power to choose peace right now. Say this one final time. I am calm. I am centered. I am a clear channel for abundance. I am calm. I am centered. I am a clear channel for abundance. I am calm. I am centered. I am a clear channel for abundance. Now, the current begins to move again. Gently, gracefully, perfectly. Because when your emotions align with peace, the universe responds with provision. And what once felt delayed will start to appear. Right on time, under grace, in perfect ways. Fear does not always look like panic. Sometimes it dresses itself as responsibility. Sometimes it hides beneath perfectionism, overthinking, or constant planning. Sometimes it even pretends to be wisdom. But deep inside, it is still fear. When you feel the need to control everything, to know every step, to fix every detail, to manage every outcome, it is fear wearing the mask of order. It whispers, if I don't do it, it won't happen. It tells you that your worth depends on your effort, your safety depends on your schedule, and your success depends on your control. But beloved, control is not peace. It is fear disguised as strength. It is the soul's attempt to replace divine timing with human timing. Florence Scovel Shinn said, faith never fights, it knows. Faith does not demand answers. It trusts the unseen process. Faith does not chase, it allows. Faith does not manipulate, it magnetizes. When you try to control everything, you are saying to the universe, I don't trust that you know what you're doing. And the law of life always responds to belief. If you believe you must do everything yourself, the universe will step back and let you. Not out of punishment, but out of respect for your free will. But when you finally surrender, when you say, Spirit, I trust you more than I trust my fear, everything begins to move in your favor. Say this now. I release control and choose trust. Again, I release control and choose trust. The need to control is born from the illusion of separation, the false belief that you are alone, unsupported, and unloved. When you forget your connection to infinite spirit, you feel you must force what would otherwise flow. But when you remember that you are one with divine supply, you realize there is nothing to force, only something to allow. You are not meant to push life. You are meant to move with life. The river does not ask the current where it is going. It flows because it knows the ocean is waiting. The flower does not rush to bloom. It opens because the sun is constant. The universe is never late because it does not operate in fear. It operates in divine rhythm. Florence said, there is no delay in divine mind. That means everything you desire is already in progress, already unfolding, already being prepared for you. The only thing that delays it is your need to control how and when. Say this now. I trust the timing of my abundance. Again, I trust the timing of my abundance. The control is the ego's way of feeling safe. But safety built on fear is not real safety. It is resistance. You do not need to manage every detail of your miracle. You only need to hold the vision and trust that Spirit knows the perfect path to deliver it. When you surrender control, you create space for the divine to act. And the moment you stop gripping so tightly, things begin to move. People show up. Doors open. Ideas appear. Opportunities flow that your mind could never have planned. You see, the universe cannot pour into hands that are clenched. But open hands receive with ease. When you open your energy, you become a vessel instead of a barrier. Say this now, I open my hands and let abundance flow. Again, I open my hands and let abundance flow. A fear disguised as control often shows up in small ways. Checking your bank account over and over, doubting every step, trying to make everything happen faster. But true faith is stillness. It is trusting that the same God who made the sun rise will also make your blessing arrive. Right on time, without delay, without mistake. Florence said, you must act as if you have already received. That means walk calmly, speak confidently, rest peacefully, as if the miracle were already complete. Because in the spiritual realm, it is. It's only waiting for your energy to agree. When you feel tempted to take control again, pause and breathe. Ask yourself, am I acting from peace or from panic? If it is peace, proceed. If it is panic, pause. The difference between peace and panic determines whether you are creating from faith or from fear. Say this now: peace is my power. Stillness is my strength. Again, peace is my power. Stillness is my strength. A control feels heavy because it carries fear's weight. Trust feels light because it carries heaven's wind. When you control, you contract. When you trust, you expand. Expansion attracts abundance. Contraction repels it. It's a law of vibration. What you hold tightly cannot flow freely. Beloved, you are not meant to hold the steering wheel of the universe. You are meant to hold faith and let spirit steer. Every time you let go, you rise higher. Every time you rest, the invisible forces go to work. Every time you say, I allow, something unseen begins to align in your favor. Florence said, man's word is his wand. So use your word to release fear and claim freedom. Say this now: I allow divine order to arrange my prosperity. Again, I allow divine order to arrange my prosperity. One more time: I allow divine order to arrange my prosperity. From this day forward, stop trying to make the ocean flow. It already does. Stop trying to make blessings come. They already are. Stop trying to manage miracles. They manage themselves under grace. The moment you release control, you make room for the miraculous. You become a partner with divine intelligence instead of its rival. And life, relieved, begins to flow again. Easily, safely, abundantly. Every emotion carries energy, and every energy can be transformed. You are not a victim of how you feel. You are the master of it. The same emotion that blocks you can be the one that builds you, once you learn how to transform it. Florence Scovel Shinn said, the game of life is a game of boomerangs. Man's thoughts, deeds, and words return to him sooner or later with astounding accuracy. So if your thoughts are fear, they return as struggle. If your thoughts are peace, they return as prosperity. But remember this divine secret: every fear, when faced with faith, turns into fuel. Fear itself has no power. It only borrows the energy you give it. When you take that energy back and redirect it toward love, gratitude, and faith, you turn darkness into light. The alchemy of the spirit begins the moment you decide that your emotions will serve you, not stop you. Say this now: my emotions now serve my abundance. Again, my emotions now serve my abundance. When fear rises, see it not as failure but as feedback. It is simply your soul telling you, you are focusing away from trust. And in that moment, you have a choice: to sink deeper into fear or to lift it into faith. Beloved, you do not erase fear by ignoring it. You transform it by loving it. You speak to it the way Florence spoke to every challenge, with authority, yet with peace. She never fought fear, she corrected it. She would say, there is no power in evil. There is no reality in fear. Only God and good are real. And with that word, she would shift the energy instantly. Fear can become faith the moment you tell it what to become. Emotion is obedient. It will follow your command. If you say, I am afraid, fear grows. If you say, I choose faith, fear dissolves. That is the power of spiritual decree. Say this now: I choose faith over fear. Again, I choose faith over fear. One more time: I choose faith over fear. When you transform emotion, you also transform vibration. Your energy rises to a higher frequency, one that matches the rhythm of miracles. Because faith is the highest vibration of all. It is the energy that opens doors, moves mountains, and multiplies money. The secret, beloved, is not to be fearless, but to be faithful. To be so filled with trust that fear has no space left to live. You cannot eliminate darkness by fighting it. You eliminate it by turning on the light. And your light is the power of the spoken word, backed by belief. Florence said, words and thoughts are a form of dynamite and should be handled carefully. So when emotion feels heavy, use your word to lift it. When your heart says, I am worried, speak this truth: divine order is at work. I am safe and supplied. When your mind says, it's too late, speak this: in divine mind, nothing is delayed. Everything unfolds in perfect time. When you feel guilt or shame for wanting more, declare, I am worthy of every good thing by divine right. Each time you speak faith into fear, you rewrite the energy of your life. Fear is not the end of your power. It is the beginning of your mastery. Say this now. I turn every fearful thought into faith-filled power. Again. I turn every fearful thought into faith-filled power. This transformation is what Florence called the Great Reversal. It is when the energy that once resisted you begins to assist you. When every emotion, every circumstance, every memory becomes an instrument of your growth. Even your worry can work for you once you teach it to trust. The moment you shift from, what if it fails, to, what if it works, you flip the entire vibration. The universe responds immediately to that flip. Because vibration is instantaneous, the outer world lags behind, but energy changes the moment you decide. Florence said, man's word sets in motion forces seen and unseen that eventually return to him multiplied. That means when you affirm peace, peace will come multiplied. When you affirm wealth, wealth will come multiplied. When you affirm trust, trust will come multiplied. Beloved, fear cannot destroy you. It can only distract you. And every time you bring your attention back to love, you reclaim your power. This is emotional mastery, not to suppress your feelings, but to guide them toward truth. When you feel fear, take a breath and bless it. Say, thank you for reminding me where I forgot my faith. Then breathe again and speak peace into that place. This simple act transforms your emotional field. It reprograms your energy to see fear as a teacher, not an enemy. Say this now, I bless every emotion with love, and it turns to light. Again, I bless every emotion with love, and it turns to light. When you bless your emotions, they bless you back. Fear turns into intuition. Sadness turns into compassion. Anger turns into clarity. Worry turns into wisdom. Every emotion becomes holy when touched by love. You were never meant to fight yourself. You were meant to guide yourself, gently, consciously, divinely. And when your emotions obey faith, your outer world obeys too. Florence said, your word is your wand, so wave it with love. Every time you say, I am calm, the atmosphere shifts. Every time you say, I am safe, the energy aligns. Every time you say, I am abundant, supply begins to move. You are not waiting for peace. Peace is waiting for you. You are not chasing joy. Joy is already in you. You are not earning abundance. Abundance is responding to your energy. Say this now, my emotions are the servants of my spirit. Again, my emotions are the servants of my spirit. One more time, my emotions are the servants of my spirit. Beloved, you are not broken. You are powerful beyond measure, and the proof of your power is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to transform emotion into light. That is mastery. That is the art of divine living. Every emotion you feel today is a choice, point fear or faith, worry or wonder, resistance or release. Choose faith, choose wonder, choose release, and watch how life begins to shift instantly. Because every time you turn fear into faith, you open a new doorway of abundance. And the universe, ever faithful, ever loving, rushes through that door to meet you. Say this now, and let it seal this truth within you. I am the master of my emotions. My emotions now serve my abundance. I am peace. I am power. I am faith in motion. And it is done. There comes a time, beloved, when words must rest, and the soul must learn the sacred power of stillness. For in the silence, God speaks. In the quiet, the law begins to work. And in the peace that surpasses understanding, your abundance starts to flow. You have prayed. You have affirmed. You have spoken words of faith. But now, Spirit whispers, be still and know that I am God. A Florence Scovel Shinn said. The Chinese have a proverb. The philosopher leaves no trace of his path. Man must be still and know that the power of God is working in him and through him. This means you do not need to push your blessing forward. You only need to stop pushing against it. The flow of abundance is like a river. When you stir the waters with worry, they become muddy. But when you allow them to settle, everything becomes clear again. Say this now, I find power in my stillness. Again, I find power in my stillness. Stillness is not doing nothing. Stillness is doing everything, in spirit. It is the moment when you stop trying to create and start allowing creation to meet you. The universe cannot deliver peace to a restless heart. It can only mirror the energy you carry. If your energy is frantic, life feels delayed. If your energy is calm, life unfolds with grace. The door to miracles opens not through effort, but through surrender. You are not waiting for abundance to arrive. Abundance is waiting for you to become calm enough to receive it. Spirit cannot enter where fear is screaming. It enters where peace is listening. Florence said, "Be undisturbed by appearances and conditions." That means when the world looks chaotic, you stay centered in truth. When bills come, you stay in gratitude. When delay appears, you stay in faith. Because the appearance of lack is only a shadow, the reality of abundance is unshakable. Say this now: I am calm in the face of delay. My peace proves my faith. Again, I am calm in the face of delay. My peace proves my faith. Every moment of stillness is a declaration of trust. It says to the universe, I believe in divine timing. I do not need to rush what is already mine. And that belief becomes magnetic. Because peace is not passive, it is creative. It is the frequency that aligns you with your answered prayer. Imagine a lake on a clear day, the water so still, it mirrors the sky perfectly. That is how your soul must become. When you are still, the universe can finally reflect your desires without distortion. It hears your vibration clearly. It knows exactly what to bring. But when you are restless, the surface ripples, your energy sends mixed signals, and the flow hesitates. The calmer you become, the clearer your manifestation. The quieter you become, the louder your supply responds. Florence said, all that you require is already on your pathway. Be still and see the salvation of the Lord. That means everything you need is already in motion. You only need to get quiet enough to see it appear. Say this now: everything I desire is already moving toward me. Again, everything I desire is already moving toward me. Stillness is healing because it restores your vibration to harmony. It releases resistance. It untangles the energy of worry. It reminds your nervous system that you are safe in divine hands. When you sit in stillness, breathe deeply, and speak softly to your spirit, you are doing the most powerful act in the universe, aligning with peace. And peace is the birthplace of miracles. Beloved, you do not manifest from chaos. You manifest from clarity. And clarity comes only when the waters of your mind are calm. That is why Florence called prayer a spiritual wireless. The signal must be steady for the message to go through. Stillness is that steady signal. Say this now: my calmness is my communication with the divine. Again, my calmness is my communication with the divine. You do not need to shout your desires, whisper them with certainty. You do not need to rush your blessings, welcome them with grace. You do not need to prove your worth. Your stillness already proves your faith. The world teaches you to hustle. Heaven teaches you to harmonize. The world says, push harder. Heaven says, be still. The world fears time running out. Heaven says, divine timing is never late. When you are still, the universe knows what to do. It rearranges circumstances, inspires people, shifts opportunities, and aligns details you could never manage. All without your struggle, all under grace. Florence said, when man can control his words, he can control any situation. And what are words but sound? Stillness is the sound of mastery. It says, I no longer chase, I attract. I no longer beg, I bless. So take a moment now, close your eyes. Breathe deeply, and feel peace rise in you like the tide returning to the shore. You are being filled again, with light, with confidence, with calm. You are remembering who you are, a soul connected to infinite supply. Say this now: peace is my proof that God is at work. Again, peace is my proof that God is at work. When you master stillness, you become untouchable by fear. Because you no longer need to see progress to know it's happening. You no longer need to feel control to feel safe. You rest in divine rhythm, and divine rhythm never fails. Every miracle you seek is born in stillness. Every solution you crave rises in silence. Every supply you desire flows from peace. Stillness is not waiting, it is receiving. And the moment you sit in peace, heaven stands ready to deliver. Florence said, faith knows it has already received. So the calm heart is not hoping, it is knowing. It does not chase, it expects. It does not demand, it allows. Say this now: I allow miracles through my calm. Again, I allow miracles through my calm. And so it is. Every breath you take in peace is a prayer. Every quiet moment is an open channel, and every act of stillness is a silent command that says to the universe, I am ready to receive. Now, beloved, it is time to seal this truth in your heart. You have heard the message. You have remembered the law. You have seen how fear hides behind emotion, how control pretends to be safety, and how stillness opens the floodgates of abundance. Now, you will claim it with your word, your will, and your unwavering faith. Florence Scovel Shinn said, your word is your wand. So today, let your words move the unseen world. Let them rearrange everything that once seemed blocked, and let peace flow like a river through your life. Take a deep breath and say softly, I am safe now. Again, I am safe now. Because that is where all wealth begins, in safety. When you feel safe, you open the door to receive. When you feel safe, you stop chasing and start attracting. When you feel safe, you step into the flow of divine order. Fear cannot live where peace resides. Worry cannot stay where faith abides. And lack cannot survive in a heart that knows its supply comes from God. You have learned that emotion is power, not punishment. You have learned that control is fear in disguise. You have learned that stillness is not weakness. It is the language of heaven. And now, with every breath you take, you are becoming a vessel of peace so magnetic that abundance cannot resist you. Say this now. I am the calm through which miracles flow. Again, I am the calm through which miracles flow. Florence said, faith never fights, it knows. So know now. Know that the universe has already heard your prayer. Know that what you have asked for has already been given in spirit. Know that everything that seemed delayed is only being delivered in perfect divine order. You no longer have to ask, when. You only have to say, now. For the law of supply works instantly when you are aligned with faith. Say this now. It is happening now. Under grace, in perfect ways. Again, it is happening now. Under grace, in perfect ways. Beloved, release every memory that ever taught you to fear money. Release every belief that ever told you you must suffer to succeed. Release every thought that says, I must control or I will lose. You have nothing to lose, only peace to gain, because all that belongs to you by divine right can never be taken, delayed, or destroyed. You are not here to chase what is already yours. You are here to align with it through peace. You are not here to force the universe. You are here to cooperate with its perfect flow. So let your word become your resting place. Let your affirmation become your atmosphere. Say this now. I am in perfect harmony with divine supply. My emotions serve my abundance. My faith multiplies my good. Breathe deeply and feel the energy shifting around you. The air becomes lighter. The tension leaves your shoulders. Your heart opens like a flower receiving morning light. This is what allowing feels like. The art of no longer fighting your blessings. Florence said, there is a supply for every demand. So if there is a desire in your heart, there is a matching supply already waiting in spirit. You do not need to earn it. You only need to receive it. And you receive by faith, through peace, in gratitude. Say this now. What I desire is already mine, in divine mind. Again. What I desire is already mine, in divine mind. Every time you feel fear, remember, it is not a sign of failure, but an invitation to trust again. You are not falling behind. You are simply being guided back to faith. Every breath you take in calmness tells heaven, I am ready, and heaven always responds. The law of abundance does not work through panic. It works through peace. The universe is a mirror, and it will reflect whatever you feel most often. So make peace your daily vibration, and prosperity must appear. Say this now. My peace is my proof of wealth. Again, my peace is my proof of wealth. When you are calm, you are commanding. When you are peaceful, you are powerful. When you are grateful, you are magnetic. Because faith is not a shout, it is a vibration. It speaks softly but moves mountains. Florence said, gratitude is the law of increase, and complaint is the law of decrease. So even now, thank God for the abundance unseen. Thank God for the blessings already forming. Thank God for the money opportunities and miracles already on their way. Say this now. Thank you, Spirit, that money flows to me freely, easily, and under grace. Again, thank you, Spirit, That money flows to me freely, easily, and under grace. Feel that gratitude like sunlight in your heart. That warmth is your proof. That peace is your power. That calm is your currency. You are not waiting for abundance. Abundance is waiting for your peace. You are not asking for blessings. Blessings are asking for your trust. You are not chasing wealth. Wealth is chasing your calm. So rest, breathe, and allow yourself to be blessed. Say this now. I rest in divine flow. I rest in abundance. I rest in faith. And now, beloved, here is your final decree. Speak it aloud with authority as Florence willed. I am the vessel of divine peace and supply. I am calm, I am confident, I am cared for. I release fear forever. I trust the divine law of abundance now at work. All that belongs to me by divine right comes to me now, under grace, in perfect ways. And say it again. I am the vessel of divine peace and supply. I am calm, I am confident, I am cared for. I release fear forever. I trust the divine law of abundance now at work. All that belongs to me by divine right comes to me now, under grace, in perfect ways. And one final time, this time not as a request, but as a command to the universe. I am the vessel of divine peace and supply. I am calm, I am confident, I am cared for. I release fear forever. I trust the divine law of abundance now at work. All that belongs to me by divine right comes to me now, under grace, in perfect ways. Now it is done. The decree is sealed. The energy is released. The fear is dissolved, and peace reigns. You have unlocked the door to abundance. Not by striving, not by chasing, but by remembering that peace is the proof of faith, and faith is the password to heaven's supply. And from this moment forward, may your calmness attract every good thing your heart desires, under grace, in perfect, miraculous ways.
Every word we speak is a decree. It is a seed dropped into the fertile soil of the invisible. In the great game of life, spirit plays no favorites. It responds not to fear or struggle, but to command, to certainty, to word made law. When man aligns his spoken word with divine mind, mountains move, doors open, and riches pour forth. I once lived as many do, entangled in appearances, mistaking shadows for substance. Lack, limitation, and delay seemed to block every turn. But I learned a great secret. Man's only enemy is the doubt he harbors, the fear he shelters, the false belief that he must toil for his good. Divine supply is ever present, awaiting only the spoken word to call it forth. One day, in the silence of my soul, I declared, I am a multi-millionaire. Not I will be, not I hope to be, but I am. I spoke it not as fantasy, but as fact. I refused to argue with appearances. The bank account did not matter, nor did the opinions of others. I stood firm in the knowledge that there is no power but God, and God operates through my word. Every affirmation I spoke was law unto itself. There is gold dust in the air for me. My ships come in over calm seas. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I did not chase wealth. I called it. I blessed it. I gave thanks for it before it arrived, and in the invisible it began to form. Opportunities arrived unannounced. Ideas burned like lamps in my mind. Divine channels opened where there once were walls, for the law does not fail. As surely as spring follows winter, what you speak with faith must manifest. I became a multi-millionaire the moment I spoke it into law, not when the figures showed in my account, but when I knew it in my soul. That knowing, that unwavering word, is the key that unlocks all treasure houses. Let this be your lesson and your liberty. Stop speaking of what you lack. Declare what you desire as already yours. Say it with the authority of one who walks with God. Wealth is not withheld, it is only uncalled. Speak it now, speak it bold, speak it as law. The universe rushes to obey. The spoken word is law and shapes reality. This is a principle as old as time, yet as misunderstood as the very breath that utters it. Words are not merely sound vibrations passing through air. They are spiritual commands that summon the unseen into form. In the hidden architecture of life, words are the blueprint. Each syllable we speak becomes a decree, an instruction to the invisible forces that govern the material world. When we speak with authority, clarity, and conviction, we set in motion the very wheels of manifestation. What most fail to understand is that every word, be it idle, casual, or deliberate, is planting seeds into the garden of the subconscious mind. And what is planted must eventually bloom, for that is the law. The subconscious, that silent builder behind the curtain, does not discriminate between truth and falsehood. It simply accepts what is repeatedly spoken and believed. If you say, "I am poor," it will fashion circumstances to match that statement. If you declare, "I am blessed," it will move heaven and earth to reflect it. You become what you affirm, because what you affirm becomes the law under which you live. In spiritual truth, we are not victims of fate but authors of reality. Our words write the script of our lives. Every affirmation, every declaration, every complaint, every praise, it all becomes law the moment it is accepted by the subconscious and echoed by the universe. The law, being impersonal and precise, simply carries out what you command. Like a faithful servant, it does not question, it does not delay, it executes. To say, "The spoken word is law," is to recognize the divine creative force behind utterance. The ancient scriptures echo this truth. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That is not mere poetry. It is revelation. The Word creates. The Word is the first cause. Before anything is seen, it must be spoken. All substance begins in the realm of the unseen and is drawn forth through the Word. This is why silence can hold no power until it breaks into speech. Thought, though powerful, does not carry the same directive force until it is spoken aloud, energized by belief. When you say, "I can't afford it," you are commanding poverty. When you say, "I am always late," you are writing tardiness into your timeline. When you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," you are enshrining misfortune in the temple of your life. These are not just passing remarks. They are spells, incantations cast without awareness, yet bearing weight all the same. Every word carries frequency, and that frequency is matched by the universe without fail. Consider the difference between one who constantly says, "I am tired, I am sick, I am unlucky," and another who declares, "I am radiant, I am whole, I am divinely guided." Both individuals are speaking laws into existence. One shapes a life of limitation, the other shapes a life of unfolding good. The difference lies not in external circumstances, but in internal decree. The outer world only reflects what has already been legislated by the inner word. There is immense power in realizing that nothing external has authority over you unless you give it that authority with your word. You may face apparent facts, debt, illness, rejection. But if you speak only truth, if you speak only from the highest law, those facts begin to dissolve. Facts are mutable, truth is eternal. The truth is that divine supply knows no lack. The truth is that you are whole, prosperous, radiant, and powerful. The truth is that you are a co-creator with the infinite. And the moment you begin to speak from that truth, life rearranges itself to support it. Even casual speech must be watched with care. The tongue, though small, can stir great forces. To say, "I'm afraid I'll fail," even in jest, is to open the gate for failure to enter. To say, "I always mess things up," is to etch failure into your pattern. Words repeated enough become grooves in consciousness. They turn into beliefs, and beliefs turn into habits, and habits shape destiny. If you wish to know what your future holds, examine the words you speak today. They are the architects of tomorrow. Affirmations are not mere positive thinking, they are acts of creation. To say, "I am," is to speak the name of God, the I am presence within. What follows those two words is infused with power. I am strong, I am wealthy, I am free. These are not empty phrases, they are spiritual commands. When spoken with faith and feeling, they override past programming and install new laws into the subconscious. The law of attraction, the law of increase, the law of right action, all begin to operate on your behalf. But this power is neutral. It does not favor good or evil, abundance or lack. It simply obeys. Just as fire can warm a home or burn it to the ground, so too can the spoken word build a life of beauty or destroy it with carelessness. To become conscious of speech is to become conscious of power. One must be vigilant. One must learn to bridle the tongue, not in repression, but in mastery. Let every word spoken be a seed of truth, a spark of divine intention. To speak deliberately is to live deliberately. To choose words aligned with higher law is to anchor heaven on earth. It does not matter what has gone before. The past has no power once you begin to speak with authority. Say it now. I am free from all limitation. I am one with the infinite substance. I speak the word and it goes forth to fulfill its perfect work. These are not affirmations for someday. They are spiritual contracts, activated in the moment they are believed. Miracles begin not with action, but with utterance. The right word spoken at the right time can open doors no man can shut. One phrase, if uttered with faith, can dissolve years of stagnation. This is why spiritual masters speak little, but when they do, their words carry weight. They understand that the tongue is a creative force, not to be wasted. Every time you declare your good, you hammer it into form. Every time you deny lack, you loosen its grip. Every time you speak from power, you awaken that power within. Life does not happen to you. It answers you. It answers the word you speak with feeling. It reflects back what you declare as law. There is no such thing as a neutral word. All language is either building or breaking. When you say, "Things always go well for me," the universe reorders itself to support that claim. When you say, "I attract wealth with ease," channels open. When you say, "I walk in favor," people are moved to bless you, systems align to assist you. Not because the world changes, but because your law has changed. This is the forgotten magic, the alchemy of utterance. In every age, the wise have guarded this secret, that words are not descriptions but decrees. They do not describe reality, they create it. Whether spoken in whisper or shout, in private thought or public prayer, every word is a wand. Use it with precision. Use it with purpose. Use it with praise. Let no careless phrase pass your lips, for the law does not sleep, nor does it forget. Declare desires as present facts, not future hopes. This is the secret to manifestation that most overlook. When you speak of your good as already yours, you step into alignment with the creative power of the universe. There is no creative force in wishing, wanting, or hoping. These are the language of delay. The law does not operate on hope, it operates on conviction. To say, "I will be rich," keeps riches forever on the horizon. But to declare, "I am rich now," even if appearances suggest otherwise, activates the unseen machinery that brings the statement into form. The subconscious mind, which is the builder of your experience, responds to now. It responds to certainty. It is not moved by longing or possibility, it is commanded by declaration. When you say, "I will have success," the subconscious hears, "Not yet," and delays action. When you say, "Success is mine now," the subconscious sets to work immediately, drawing people, ideas, and opportunities to fulfill the claim. Every statement you make in the present tense impresses itself deeper into your belief system, reshaping your patterns of thought, and in turn, your outer world. The truth is, all that you desire already exists in the invisible realm. You are not creating something from nothing. You are aligning with that which already is. The infinite is complete. Every idea, every opportunity, every dollar, every connection you seek is already present on the invisible plane. Your job is not to struggle or to chase, it is to claim. And to claim something, you must speak of it as if it is already yours. I am loved. I am whole. I am wealthy. These statements do not describe your current outer condition. They declare your spiritual truth, and the outer must conform. When you speak in the language of, "I will," "I hope," "I want," you place your desire outside of yourself. You affirm its distance from you. But the law responds only to what you accept as true. It does not deliver what you wish for. It delivers what you believe you already have. That is why faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is not wishing. Faith is knowing. Faith says, "It is mine now." That knowing, spoken with authority, shifts the entire pattern of your life. To declare your desire as a present fact is not to lie. It is to speak the higher truth. The higher truth is not found in appearances, but in spiritual reality. You may not yet see the evidence of your wealth, But in truth, the wealth is already yours. You have access to it now. The moment you accept it as a present fact, the channels of supply open. The law does not require time to deliver. It only requires belief. Time is only needed for the rearrangement of outer conditions. The inner shift happens the moment you declare your good as now. This is why so many remain stuck in cycles of hoping and waiting. They believe their good lies in the future, and so it does. The law is perfectly obedient. Whatever you declare becomes law for you. Say, it will come, and it will always be coming. Say, it is here, and it begins to show up. Not because your words are magic spells, but because they activate a deeper law of assumption. What you assume to be true becomes your reality. It is not about repeating empty affirmations. It is about inhabiting the feeling of your desire fulfilled and speaking from that place. If you truly believed your success was here now, how would you speak? How would you walk? How would you act? When you begin to live from that version of yourself, reality bends to meet you. You must become the person who already has what you desire. That becoming begins with the spoken word. Speech is the bridge between inner belief and outer manifestation. When you speak your desire as present, you reinforce your faith. Each time you say, I am, instead of, I will be, you rewire your mind to expect your good. You train your consciousness to accept the invisible as real. This is the great work of manifestation, to see with the eye of spirit, to feel with the heart of knowing, and to speak with the voice of command. The universe cannot deny what you claim with conviction. It responds with absolute precision to the vibration of your word. But the vibration must be consistent. You cannot declare wealth one moment and speak of lack the next. You must persist in your assumption. You must treat your desire as real, even when evidence has not yet caught up. This is not pretending. It is creating. Pretending is hoping. Creating is knowing. Let your words match your vision. Let your declarations affirm your divine right to all good. Say, I am abundant in every way. Say, I am aligned with divine opportunity. Say, I am already living in my answered prayer. These statements draw the invisible into visibility. They plant the seed of belief, which the subconscious then nourishes into manifestation. Every word you speak builds a new pattern in your consciousness. Speak enough truth, and the truth will become your experience. It does not matter how things appear. The law does not work by sight, it works by spirit. Declare your health when your body feels weak. Declare your success when your efforts seem to fail. Declare your love when you feel alone. Because your word, spoken in the present tense, overrides temporary facts with eternal truth. Truth is not found in the world of effects. It is found in the realm of cause. And the cause is your word. To live in truth is to declare your divine identity in every moment. You are not poor trying to become rich. You are not broken trying to be healed. You are not lost trying to be found. You are whole now. You are wealthy now. You are chosen now. Speak from this identity. Claim it, own it. Let your word be law. Let your mouth be a channel for divine creation. Let your voice shape the world you were born to live in. Do not wait for proof. Speak your good into being. The proof will follow. But it cannot precede the declaration. You must go first. You must decide. You must stand in faith. Say, this is who I am. This is what I have. This is what I live. Let your word be final. Let your word be fearless. Let your word reflect the truth that your good is not coming. It is already here. Ignore appearances and trust divine supply. Appearances are the shadow realm. They reflect only what has been created by past thought, past word, past belief. They are not the source of reality, but the echo. What you see with the natural eye is merely the outcome of yesterday's consciousness. To base your belief on appearances is to anchor yourself in delay, fear, and limitation. But when you turn your attention away from the seen and place your trust in divine supply, you begin to operate by spiritual law, not by material evidence. Divine supply is infinite, invisible, and unchanging. It is never depleted, never delayed, and never disturbed. It exists here and now in perfect fullness, awaiting your recognition and claim. Everything you desire already exists in the unseen realm, in the storehouse of the infinite. There is no lack in spirit. There is no shortage in the kingdom. But to access this supply, you must look beyond the temporary illusion of lack and affirm the reality of your abundance. This is the path of mastery, to walk through the valley of seeming nothing and declare, "All is mine now." The great mistake is to judge by appearances, to look at an empty bank account and say, "I am broke." To look at a quiet phone and say, "I am forgotten." To see rejection and say, "I am unworthy." These statements are not truths. They are conclusions drawn from illusion. Appearances may show you a temporary condition, but they cannot tell you who you are or what is possible. You are not limited by what your eyes see. You are limited only by what your mind believes. And your mind can be renewed at any moment by shifting your focus from form to source. Divine supply is not found in your paycheck, your clients, your business, or your family. These are channels, not sources. Channels may open or close, but source is eternal. The moment you confuse the channel for the source, you become fearful, reactive, and dependent. But when you anchor yourself in the knowing that divine supply operates through infinite channels, you release all attachment and fear. You trust that if one door closes, another opens. If one avenue is blocked, a greater way is revealed. You are never without supply, only without recognition. Faith is the substance that bridges the invisible to the visible. It is not a passive hope, but an active trust in divine intelligence. Faith says, "I do not need to see it to know it is here." Faith declares abundance when appearances scream lack. Faith acts as if the supply is already in hand. This is not denial, it is spiritual accuracy. The senses may inform you of temporary facts, but only Spirit reveals the eternal truth. And the eternal truth is this: God is your source, and God is unfailing. Many delay their good because they wait for appearances to improve before they believe. But this is the reverse of how the law works. It is belief that changes appearances, not the other way around. You must first claim abundance in the unseen, and then the seen will rearrange itself. Say, "Divine supply meets all my needs richly and immediately." Say it when the cupboard is full, and say it when the cupboard is bare. Your word is law, not your condition. Those who are ruled by appearances live in fear, anxiety, and limitation. They are tossed by every change in circumstance. One day they are joyful, the next day discouraged. But those who are rooted in spiritual law live in stability, peace, and certainty. They know that nothing external can touch the truth of their being. They live by inner decree, not outer evidence. And because of this, appearances begin to conform to their word, rather than their word conforming to appearances. Divine supply is not a future promise. It is a present reality. It is not something you earn. It is something you claim. You do not need to beg for it, strive for it, or compete for it. You need only align your consciousness with it. And that alignment begins by turning your back on fear-based appearances and declaring the truth. Say, "I walk in the rhythm of abundance." Say, "Every bill is paid with ease and surplus." Say, "The riches of the universe flow to me now." Do not wait for proof. Your word is the proof. You must train your eyes to see beyond the visible. When others speak of recession, you speak of expansion. When others panic, you declare peace. When others cry lack, you affirm overflow. You are not governed by the world, you are governed by the word. And the word declares that your supply is from an infinite source. You are heir to the kingdom. You are backed by spiritual substance. You are supported by a law that never fails. To ignore appearances is not to deny the facts. It is to transcend them. It is to recognize that facts can change, but truth remains. It is to hold fast to the knowing that divine supply is always seeking expression through you. Even in the driest desert, there is water beneath the surface. Even in the darkest night, the sun is waiting to rise. Appearances are the fog before the breakthrough. Hold steady. Speak the truth. Stand firm in the law. Gratitude is the great multiplier of supply. Give thanks for the unseen good as if it were already in your hands. Say, "I bless the substance of God in all its forms." Say, I rejoice in the flow of prosperity. Your gratitude lifts your vibration and opens the gate for more. Do not grumble about what appears to be missing. Praise what is coming. Praise makes the invisible visible. Praise turns the seed into the harvest. Praise activates the law. Divine supply flows through faith, through expectation, through joy. It does not flow through worry, doubt, or desperation. Worry signals disbelief in the source. Doubt chokes the pipeline. Desperation repels the very good you seek. But joy signals confidence. Faith attracts the substance. Calm expectation magnetizes the channels. Speak with the tone of assurance, not fear. Declare your abundance as if it is inevitable, because in truth it is. The world will always present evidence of lack. News headlines, bank statements, gossip, delay. But these are only tests of your focus. Will you bow to the false idol of appearance, or will you remain loyal to the truth of supply? The choice is made moment by moment, word by word. Every time you affirm, I am provided for in all ways, you pierce the illusion. Every time you say, my source is limitless, you realign with truth. You are not a beggar at the gate. You are a child of the infinite. You are not scraping for scraps. You are drawing from the abundance of spirit. You are not subject to economic trends. You are governed by spiritual law. Divine supply is your inheritance, your design, your truth. The more you affirm it, the more it flows. The more you praise it, the more it multiplies. The more you ignore appearances, the more you rise above them. Wealth manifests through unwavering faith and affirmation. It is not hustle that unlocks the storehouse of supply, but the steady conviction that what is yours cannot be withheld. Faith is the substance, the inner gold from which all outer gold is formed. Without it, words fall flat, actions scatter, and results remain elusive. But when faith is anchored deep within the soul, it magnetizes wealth from the invisible to the visible, forming it out of the very ethers. True wealth begins as a spiritual condition before it becomes a material result, and that condition is formed and fortified by word spoken in belief. Affirmation is the spoken law of what is spiritually true. It is not wishful thinking or empty repetition. It is the deliberate announcement of divine truth, expressed with confidence and authority. When you affirm, I am wealthy, you are not describing what the eyes see. You are declaring what the spirit knows. You are announcing the unseen reality that exists beyond time and circumstance. You are writing a new script into the subconscious mind and commanding the law to make it manifest. Every true affirmation is a seed. It may not break the soil immediately, but it will sprout, grow, and flourish if nurtured by unwavering faith. Unwavering faith is not shaken by delay. It does not falter in the face of contradiction. It does not argue with bank accounts or invoices. It knows that these are merely outer shadows, echoing past beliefs. Faith walks forward even when the path is hidden. It declares abundance even when appearances suggest otherwise. It holds to the affirmation as a lifeline, knowing that the spoken word is shaping the conditions that will soon appear. This is not blind hope, it is spiritual certainty. And with this certainty, wealth cannot help but follow. Wealth is not something to chase. It is something to claim. When you chase money, you affirm that it is separate from you, distant, withheld. But when you claim wealth through affirmation and hold that claim with faith, you align yourself with the law of supply. The law does not withhold. It responds, it mirrors. If your inner state says, I am rich, the law brings circumstances, people, ideas, and events to match it. But if your inner voice says, I need, I lack, I fear, then the law echoes that too. Faith must be steady, not occasional. Affirmation must be consistent, not conditional. It is not enough to say, I am wealthy, once and then look fearfully at your surroundings. You must stand in that declaration, again and again, until it becomes the foundation of your being. The moment you speak it, the law begins to move. But if you contradict your word with worry, you slow the process. You dig up the seed before it can grow. This is why unwavering faith is essential. It sustains the vibration long enough for wealth to find its way to you. Affirmations are not meant to convince the universe. They are meant to convince you. The universe already agrees with your abundance. Spirit already knows your wealth is true, but your mind may not yet believe it. So you speak the affirmation not to beg, not to wish, but to install a new belief. Every repetition strengthens the new pattern. Every declaration shifts your vibration closer to alignment. And once your inner state matches the wealth you seek, it must appear. The outer is compelled to reflect the inner law you have accepted. Wealth does not come from force. It comes from alignment. And alignment is created by word and faith. When you say, "Money flows to me with ease," and you believe it, your entire being becomes a magnet for prosperity. Ideas come, resources show up, people are moved on your behalf. You are led to right action. But if you say, "I don't know how I'll make ends meet," even in passing, you declare a law that the universe honors. There is no room for casual doubt when calling forth abundance. You must speak only what you desire, and do so with unwavering certainty. Unwavering faith is not loud. It is calm. It is not frantic or forceful. It is still, grounded, and sure. It does not need to see proof, because it knows the proof is forming. It holds the vision. It holds the word. It does not flinch. This is the faith that moves mountains. This is the faith that turns thoughts into gold. When you combine this faith with your spoken word, you become unstoppable. The gates of wealth open because you have met the spiritual requirement belief backed by voice. Every moment you declare wealth, even when there is none in sight, you expand your capacity to receive. Every time you say, "I prosper in all I do," even when things appear stagnant, you invite the law to activate. But the invitation must be steady. You cannot invite wealth and then talk about lack. You cannot affirm prosperity and then worry aloud. Faith and affirmation must be in agreement. When they are, your vibration becomes irresistible to the good you seek. The world trains people to wait for evidence. Spiritual law asks you to create the evidence by first believing. The world says, "When I see it, I'll believe it." But Spirit says, "When you believe it, you will see it." Affirmation is how you speak what you believe. Faith is how you hold to it, regardless of time or appearance. Together, they form the perfect creative formula. And with that formula, wealth cannot be kept from you. The nature of wealth is responsive. It flows where it is welcomed, where it is spoken of with reverence and confidence. It avoids those who resent it, fear it, or doubt its arrival. But to those who affirm it with joy and receive it in thought before it appears in form, it rushes. It responds to the open channel. It responds to the clear declaration. It responds to the vibration of "I have," not "I need." You must train yourself to speak wealth as your normal. Let it be the language of your life. Say, "Money is a divine idea, and it flows to me now." Say, "Everything I touch prospers." Say, "I am surrounded by financial increase." These are not fantasies. They are spiritual realities activated by your voice. The more you say them, the more you believe them. The more you believe them, the more the world reflects them. Do not let the outer world silence your word. Let your words silence the outer world. When bills come, bless them and declare, "There is always more than enough." When a job ends, say, "Something greater is on its way." When plans fall through, affirm, "I am divinely guided to higher prosperity." You are not reacting to life. You are creating it with your declaration and sustained faith. All that you desire is already here in form or in essence. The difference between those who receive and those who delay is not luck, effort, or education. It is faith in the word. Say it, believe it, stand by it. Let the world catch up to the truth you hold. Let your affirmation go ahead of you and prepare the way. Wealth listens. Wealth obeys. Wealth manifests for those who speak with conviction and believe without wavering. The universe responds to bold, aligned command. It does not respond to hesitation, doubt, or vague requests. It does not move for the one who whispers their good in fear. It does not activate itself for the soul who asks timidly, who hopes cautiously, who waits politely. The law is precise, and it requires precision in return. A bold, clear, spoken word, aligned with the truth of spirit, is the ignition key to manifestation. When you command with certainty, not arrogance but spiritual authority, the entire universe rushes to obey. To command is not to force. It is not to demand from ego or desperation. It is to know the law, to trust the law, and to speak the word as one who understands their rightful place in the divine order. You are not separate from the creative force. You are an extension of it. And because you are one with it, your word, when aligned with higher law, becomes a decree. This is the true meaning of dominion, not control over others, but authority over your own world, your own conditions, your own atmosphere. You do not beg for what is yours by divine inheritance. You claim it. A bold command is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is quiet, clear, and unwavering. It comes from a deep place of knowing. When you declare, "This is mine now," you are not trying to convince anyone. You are affirming what is already true in spirit. The invisible realm is already holding your good. Your command does not create it, but calls it forth. The clarity of your word determines the speed of its arrival. The more aligned your command is with spiritual truth, the more swiftly the universe responds. Alignment is essential. A command that comes from fear, from grasping, from lack, carries no power. It is muddied, confused, contradictory. But a command that arises from alignment with divine truth, that you are one with infinite supply, one with perfect health, one with divine love, carries the full force of spiritual authority. It is not born from ego, it is born from oneness. You are not commanding to dominate life. You are commanding to cooperate with it, to allow it to flow as it was always meant to through you. There is no creative power in begging. The universe does not respond to pleading, it responds to conviction. It responds to law. It responds to the soul who knows that the spoken word, infused with belief and aligned with truth, must manifest. This is why you must speak your word as if it cannot fail. I am now receiving all that is mine by divine right time. The perfect opportunity presents itself now. My income increases constantly and effortlessly. These are not hopes, they are laws spoken into form. The law is always listening, always responding. It is impersonal and exact. It does not judge the content of your command. It only fulfills it. If you say, "Everything is falling apart," the law agrees. If you say, "Everything is working in my favor," the law agrees. If you speak chaos, you create chaos. If you speak order, abundance, and peace, you create the conditions for those qualities to manifest. You are the legislator of your experience. Every word you speak becomes instruction. The boldness of your command reflects the boldness of your belief. If you hesitate when speaking your word, if you second-guess your desire, if you qualify your affirmations with "if" or "maybe," you dilute your power. The universe cannot respond to an unclear instruction. But when you say, "I am healthy, I am whole, I am thriving," and you say it with the energy of conviction, the law begins moving immediately to align your outer life with that inner truth. The key is to command from identity. You are not someone trying to become wealthy. You are wealth expressing itself. You are not someone chasing success. You are success embodied. You are not someone begging for healing. You are health incarnate. Speak from the identity of "I am," not "I hope to be." Your identity is the source of your command. When you say, "I am," you activate the highest spiritual law. What follows those words becomes a decree. The universe does not question it, it mirrors it. There is no virtue in shrinking, in minimizing your desires, in softening your speech to make others comfortable. The universe honors the bold, the clear, the faithful. Your boldness does not offend. It signals readiness. It signals trust. It signals that you are no longer negotiating with life, but creating with it. Boldness is not aggressiveness. It is confidence in divine law. When you are bold in your declarations, you are saying, "I know who I am and what I'm entitled to as a child of the infinite." Practice your bold command daily. Do not wait until crisis forces you to act. Speak your word every morning as law. This is a day of miracles. Everything I touch prospers. I am divinely guided and abundantly supplied. Speak these truths not as hopes, but as statements of reality. Let your voice carry the tone of certainty. Let your energy say, "It is already done." The spoken word, when issued from this place, alters the atmosphere. It breaks stagnation. It rearranges matter. It creates new pathways and dissolves old blocks. Your environment is a mirror of your command. If you do not like what you see, do not argue with the picture. Change the word that painted it. The universe does not care how long a pattern has existed. It responds in the now. One bold command, spoken from faith, can reverse years of limitation. But it must be spoken as law, not suggestion. You are not hoping the universe will cooperate. You are cooperating with a law that is already operating. This is why prayer, when done correctly, is not pleading but commanding. True spiritual prayer is not, "Please, may I have?" It is, "Thank you." It is done. It is declaration. It is law. The word is spoken in the invisible, and the form follows in the visible. Do not ask, declare. Do not beg, claim. Do not wait, command. This is your power. This is your privilege. The universe is already prepared to respond. It only waits for your clear instruction. Repetition strengthens your word. The more you speak it, the more real it becomes. The more real it becomes, the more your belief anchors it into form. You do not repeat to convince God. You repeat to convince yourself. You repeat until your inner atmosphere changes, until your vibration shifts, until your subconscious accepts the new law. Then, without effort, without strain, your outer life reflects the new order. It becomes inevitable. Do not dilute your word to fit appearances. Appearances are temporary. The word is eternal. When you command wealth, joy, love, or healing, you are not ignoring facts. You are overriding them with truth. Speak what you desire, not what you fear. Declare what you want, not what you lack. Let your words be strong, simple, and clear. I am ready. I am worthy. I am already living my good. The universe responds not to your wish, but to your word. Not to your hesitation, but to your decision. Not to your desperation, but to your alignment with truth. Boldness signals to the law that you are no longer wavering. You have decided, you have claimed, you have spoken, and now the universe must obey. Not by favoritism, but by law. Not by chance, but by design. The power has never left you. It has only waited for you to rise and use it. When your command is bold and aligned, creation cannot help but follow. You have chased money long enough. You have struggled, worried, strained, and feared, living life like a desperate beggar rather than a divine heir. But today, your struggle ends. Today, you will learn one powerful sentence, a sacred decree, that has the divine power to shift your entire financial vibration and allow money to find you effortlessly. You see, money is not meant to be chased. Money is meant to respond to your spoken word, your clear command, your spiritual alignment. Your word is law, and the universe listens closely, waiting for the exact moment when your tongue issues a clear and uncompromising decree. Money, in its truest sense, is simply energy. It is obedient spiritual substance that moves at your command. Up until now, you may have unknowingly issued commands of scarcity, limitation, or delay, wondering why abundance avoids you. Today, that misunderstanding is permanently corrected. Today, you will learn the one sentence that instructs the infinite source, the divine intelligence of the universe, to open every hidden doorway of abundance. Today, you shift your financial destiny. Money will no longer evade you. It will seek you out, find you, follow you, and flow to you effortlessly and ceaselessly. You will no longer live in financial anxiety. You will live in divine certainty. Because when you learn to speak correctly, you will understand clearly and completely that wealth is not accidental. It is vibrational. Wealth is not hard-won. It is spiritually commanded. And today, your tongue becomes the divine instrument that releases your inheritance. Prepare your spirit. Quiet your doubt. You have arrived at the turning point, and from this moment forward, your financial life will never be the same again. The universe is not ruled by luck. It is ruled by law, precise, immutable, divine law. And among the highest of these is the law of the spoken word. From the beginning, God created with sound. "Let there be light," and there was light. The word was not a suggestion, it was not a hope, it was a command, and that same divine authority has been gifted to you. Your voice is not decoration, it is a creative force. Every word you speak carries vibration, and every vibration issues instruction to the substance of the universe. When you speak from fear, that fear becomes form. When you speak from truth, truth becomes substance. So when I say to you that a single sentence can bring money to you, I speak not from fantasy, but from eternal law. The scripture declares, "Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." It does not say you must understand it or earn it or deserve it. It says you must decree it. Decree means to issue a spiritual verdict, a final word. It is spoken from authority, not from begging. And most people, when it comes to money, speak like beggars. They ask, plead, worry, and wonder, but they do not declare. They say, "I hope I can afford it," or "I'm always broke," or "money just doesn't come easily to me." And so law, being perfectly obedient, fulfills those exact statements. You see, the spoken word is not metaphorical. It is mechanical. It sets law into motion. It places the gears of supply into movement. It opens or closes the gates of provision. Money does not move based on emotion or struggle. It moves according to vibrational instruction. And the clearest way to issue that instruction is through bold, rhythmic, spiritual speech. There is no neutrality in speech. Every word is a cause. Every sentence is a seed. And most are sowing seeds of poverty with their daily dialogue. "This is too expensive," they say. "I never have enough," they sigh. And then they wonder why money hides. But the one who understands law knows that money is not scarce. It is not cruel. It is not hiding. It is simply waiting for a clear command from a spiritually aligned voice. Let this truth pierce your soul. Money is not attracted by effort. It is attracted by authority. And that authority is expressed not through stress, but through speech. When you begin to speak as one who commands spiritual law, everything in your life begins to shift. Resources appear, opportunities open, doors that were locked swing wide, and not because you hustled, but because you spoke. Do not underestimate the power of a single, well-spoken sentence. One sentence, spoken in spiritual alignment, with rhythmic repetition, with unwavering belief, can undo a lifetime of financial limitation. It can uproot generations of lack thinking. It can rewire the subconscious mind and instruct divine intelligence to send money swiftly, generously, and without resistance. This is not positive thinking. This is not wishing. This is law. The same law that governs the tides, the planets, the seasons. And it does not fail. It does not sleep. It does not argue. It simply fulfills your command. Whether that command is rooted in fear or truth is up to you. So now, I will give you the exact sentence to speak. A sentence forged in divine fire. A sentence that, when spoken faithfully and lawfully, must bring money to your side. Let me now instruct you, not as the world teaches, but as truth teaches. The world says you must work harder, try more, figure it out, stay up late, and fight your way forward. But the truth says, "Speak the word only, and thy servant shall be healed." The truth says, "Life and death are in the power of the tongue." The truth says, "Your word is your wand." So what are you doing with that wand? Are you speaking as a creator or as a casualty? Are you declaring your wealth or complaining your lack? You cannot speak two languages and expect clarity from the universe. You cannot declare abundance in the morning and complain about money in the afternoon and expect divine supply to obey. For law is clear. It responds to your dominant vibration, and your dominant vibration is established by repetition, rhythm, and feeling. You must choose today to become disciplined in speech, not casual, not soft, not reactive, but deliberate, bold, spiritual, rhythmic. Because your life reflects your language. If your bank account is in disorder, check your vocabulary. If your debts multiply, check your declarations. If your needs always outweigh your income, look not to the economy, look to your tongue. For the mouth is the gate through which divine supply either flows or is blocked. When you speak from fear, you activate the law of substitution, but in reverse. You substitute truth for illusion. You say, I can't afford this, and the law says, as you wish. You say, it's always something, and the law answers, let it be done unto you. You say, money never stays with me, and so it flees. The law is not punishing you, it is serving you, but it cannot serve what you refuse to declare. So I instruct you now, from this day forward, you will not allow your tongue to utter a single phrase of lack. You will not repeat the world's vocabulary of limitation. You will speak only what you wish to multiply. You will declare only what you desire to demonstrate. For your word is the mold, and divine substance is the material that fills it. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you touch your work, you will speak. Every evening, before you lay your head down, you will speak. You will speak clearly. You will speak as one who is already provided for. You will speak not as a beggar, but as a builder, not as a seeker, but as a speaker. For the mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, and today your mouth becomes a fountain of wealth. Do not wait until you feel rich to speak as the rich. Speak it first. Feelings will follow your frequency. Conditions will obey your confession. This is the divine order of creation. The word goes first. The spoken declaration creates the unseen form. Then and only then does it become visible. And when you speak, speak with feeling. Speak with rhythm. Speak with the absolute conviction that what you decree is already established in the invisible. Do not wonder if it's working. Know that it must, because law never fails. So now I ask you, are you ready to speak like a master? Are you ready to issue financial instructions to the universe, not from fear, but from divine authority? Are you ready to stop seeking and start declaring? Then prepare your spirit, because now I will give you the exact sentence, a spiritual decree tested by time, proven by law, and fulfilled by heaven. This sentence does not ask for money. It commands it. It does not beg for supply. It releases it. And when you speak it rhythmically, daily, faithfully, and lawfully, money must find you. The sentence is this: Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in great avalanches of abundance. This is not a poetic phrase. It is a spiritual command. It is a living key forged in divine truth. When spoken faithfully, it moves mountains, dissolves delays, and releases divine provision through channels the rational mind could never predict. You are not speaking to a person. You are not pleading with an institution. You are issuing instruction to Infinite Spirit, your source, your supply, the divine presence that orchestrates all visible manifestation. Let us break this sacred sentence apart, word by word, so your soul may grasp its depth and your spirit may speak it with unwavering authority. Infinite Spirit. You begin by addressing the source, not the job, not the bank, not the market. You bypass all limited channels and speak directly to the infinite. For money is not generated by man, it is distributed through man, but it flows from God. When you say, Infinite Spirit, you are declaring that your trust is not in economy but in eternity. You recognize that divine intelligence is the origin of all wealth. You return your gaze to the storehouse of heaven, not the shelves of men. Open the way. This is a command, not a suggestion. You are instructing divine law to remove all subconscious interference, dissolve every unseen block, and reveal the open door through which your supply flows. This is the law of non-resistance in action. You are not forcing outcomes. You are removing friction. You are not pushing. You are parting. And Spirit, being perfect intelligence, knows exactly what channels must open. It may be a phone call, a canceled debt, a job offer, a creative idea, but it will be the perfect way, the peaceful way, the surprising way. You do not decide how. You command that the way be opened. For my immediate supply, you do not ask for one day. You do not beg for someday. You speak of now. You speak of immediacy. Divine delay is never divine denial, but many have spoken vaguely, hoping for eventual provision. No more. You speak of your immediate supply because you know that in Spirit there is no time. There is only divine order. What is yours exists already in the invisible. The only delay is in your command. But now, having spoken lawfully, you claim your supply in this moment, not rushed, not desperate, but right on divine schedule, which is now. This portion of the sentence sets into motion the spiritual machinery that bypasses limitation, breaks through resistance, and floods your field with provision. It is the law of substitution replacing fear with clarity. It is the law of expectancy magnetizing invisible supply into visible form. As you speak these words, know that you are not merely repeating a spiritual formula. You are issuing a divine directive. You are commanding the heavens to move, the channels to open, and the wealth already assigned to your name to arrive without delay. You do not merely say this sentence, you declare it. You do not recite it from memory. You speak it from power. You speak it as one who knows, one who no longer wonders, one who no longer doubts, one who has ceased from striving and begun commanding. And now we move to the second half of this sacred decree, the words that seal the instruction and summon the avalanche. We now arrive at the final movement of your spoken decree. The words that complete the command amplify the current and signal heaven's treasury to pour forth in great and unmistakable measure. The sentence concludes, "Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in great avalanches of abundance." Let all that is mine by divine right. These are not the possessions of pride, nor the riches of ego. These are not stolen treasures or hurried gains. These are the things that belong to you by spiritual law, already assigned, already prepared, already complete in the invisible. This phrase affirms that you do not steal what is not yours, nor fear that your good belongs to another. You are not in competition. You are in alignment. When you say, by divine right, you are aligning with the highest good for all. You are invoking the law of right outcomes, blessings that bless everyone involved. There is no guilt in this supply, no confusion, no compromise, only perfect provision in perfect ways. Now reach me. This is the call of magnetic reception. You are not sending your good into the distance. You are pulling it into the now. You are issuing a retrieval command. These words dissolve all imaginary barriers, time, fear, distance, disbelief. They remove the waiting room. They cancel delay. You speak not from lack trying to attract. You speak from law summoning what is already yours. There is no begging in this voice. There is no uncertainty, only confident retrieval. In great avalanches of abundance. This final phrase is sacred power. This is the vibrational crescendo. You are not speaking of pennies or trickles. You are commanding avalanches, not drops, but downpours, not portions, but floods, not limited help, but total overflow. This is the law of increase in motion. You do not limit the universe to small answers. You allow yourself to receive on the level of divine surplus. The avalanche metaphor is no accident. Avalanches are massive, sudden, unstoppable. And that is how your good will appear when you speak this sentence with rhythm and conviction. not by small, predictable channels, but by surprising, immense, undeniable force. You may wake to news that erases your debt. You may be offered a role you never expected. You may receive a refund, a return, a reward, a release. You cannot calculate the channel, but you must trust the law. Speak this sentence daily, morning and night. Speak it when fear rises. Speak it when doubt tries to whisper. Speak it when lack appears to threaten. For this sentence is your spiritual sword. It cuts through appearances and commands divine reality to appear. Speak it aloud with rhythm, with breath, with finality. Do not mumble. Do not apologize. You are not a pauper. You are a divine commander. And let me say this clearly. It is not the sentence alone that brings the supply. It is the spirit behind the sentence, the vibration of certainty, the inner agreement, the sacred authority of your spoken command. When you speak as one with God, when you issue this sentence as divine decree, when you repeat it faithfully and lawfully, then yes, money must find you. Not because you're lucky, but because you've spoken law. Let no one distract you from this truth. Let no thought dilute your authority. You do not need to manipulate. You do not need to beg. You do not need to force. You need only to speak. Speak faithfully. Speak rhythmically. Speak boldly. And watch what must appear. This is the sentence. This is the key. This is the turning point. Now let us seal this truth deeper by reprogramming your mind to accept this sentence as your new financial reality. You have now spoken the sentence. You have heard its meaning. But until your subconscious mind accepts it as truth, your outer life will continue to reflect old patterns. You see, the subconscious is the deep garden of the soul. It does not respond to logic. It responds to repetition, to emotion, and to imagery. It does not argue with you. It does not question your beliefs. It simply accepts what you allow it to hear often enough. This is why you must now take your spoken sentence and sow it deliberately into the fertile ground of your subconscious mind, day by day, night by night. Do not speak it once and wonder. Do not whisper it timidly and hope. You must command it rhythmically until it becomes a living vibration in your being. Your subconscious mind has, until now, accepted phrases like, "I can't afford it," "money is tight," or "there's never enough," and so your outer world has obeyed. But now you replace those weeds with divine seed. You repeat the sentence, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply," until your subconscious accepts it not as novelty, but as law. Not as a wish, but as a command. Do this first thing upon waking. Do this last thing before sleep. For in those moments, the subconscious is wide open. Speak the sentence slowly, with feeling, as though you are writing it with fire across the surface of your soul. Imagine money already finding you, unexpected payments, surprising breakthroughs, joyful overflow. See it, speak it, feel it, and know it. You must create a rhythm, morning and evening, not 5 times today and never again, not when you feel like it, but with the discipline of a spiritual warrior. Reprogramming is not mystical, it is mechanical. If you give the subconscious a new command enough times, it must obey. Do not worry if you don't feel different at first. Speak anyway. Do not stop when the outer world still looks unchanged. Speak anyway. You are speaking through appearances, not to them. You are issuing a command that bypasses circumstance and rewrites the invisible blueprint that creates visible results. You may begin to feel strange when speaking it. Good. That means the old programming is cracking. You may feel resistance. Good. That means you're interrupting the old vibration. But speak anyway. Speak through it. Speak until the sentence becomes more familiar than your fear. I tell you the truth. The outer world always conforms to the inner word. If you reprogram your subconscious to believe that money flows to you, then the world must obey. Doors must open. Delays must dissolve. Avenues of abundance must appear, not by your might, but by your mouth. This is your sacred task now, not to figure out the how, not to chase opportunity, but to speak with conviction until your subconscious believes fully, deeply, and permanently that money finds you without resistance. And once the mind is reprogrammed, you will no longer strain. You will no longer ask whether it's working. You will expect supply, just as naturally as you expect the sun to rise. Because you've spoken it long enough to know, your word is law. Now, let us move into the challenge, your 7-day test of obedience, faith, and spoken dominion. Now that you have received the truth, you are no longer a seeker, you are a speaker. You are no longer a questioner, you are a commander. And so I now place before you a sacred challenge, not to test your worthiness, but to activate your authority. For the next 7 consecutive days, you will speak this sentence, morning and night, without excuse, without doubt, without delay. Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in great avalanches of abundance. You will say it with breath. You will say it with rhythm. You will say it aloud, not in your head, not in theory, but aloud, where the air receives it, where the vibration is sent, where the law is activated. Each morning, before the world rushes in, you will pause and speak these words, as law. You will declare them not like a beggar asking for mercy, but like a spiritual sovereign issuing command. And each night, before you cross the threshold into sleep, you will speak again, sealing your subconscious with divine supply. This is not a mantra, this is not a charm, this is a lawful decree. Spoken daily, it will begin to shift the invisible, and the invisible governs the visible. What you see today is only the echo of words you've spoken in the past. If you want new results, new inflows, new money, new manifestations, you must speak a new vibration. For these 7 days, you are forbidden from speaking lack. You will not say, "I'm broke." You will not complain about money. You will not repeat the language of fear, debt, or delay. Your tongue belongs to Spirit now. Your words are the construction crew of heaven, and I make this promise to you as surely as divine law is exact. If you speak this sentence faithfully for 7 nights and 7 mornings, without contradiction, with reverence and rhythm, something will shift. You may receive a check, a debt forgiven, a job offer, a refund, a creative idea that changes everything. You do not need to know how. You need only to be faithful to the command. Do not ask, "Is it working?" That question reveals disbelief. It must work. Law cannot lie. Spirit does not forget. Your word never returns void. You do not speak to make something happen. You speak because it already has. Let each day become more confident. Let each night become more surrendered. Let your voice become more aligned, more sure, more rhythmic. And do not just say it. Feel it. Feel the avalanche as you speak it. Picture the floodgates of wealth opening. Hear the sound of money flowing in. Smell the air of provision. Let your whole being agree. This challenge is not about money. It is about alignment. It is about trust. It is about becoming the person who commands wealth because they have become wealth in vibration. So take this seriously. Treat it as sacred. Write the sentence. Post it. Carry it. Speak it, and record what happens, because when you speak truth, life rearranges itself to obey you. Say aloud now, "I accept the 7-day challenge. I commit to speaking this sentence morning and night. I expect divine demonstration, and I trust the law." You have now accepted your role as a divine commander. You have crossed from doubt to dominion, and now prepare for the return. for what you have spoken is already on its way to you. Next, we shall seal your command with rhythm, with fire, and with spiritual finality through the rapid-fire affirmation sequence. Now we seal the work, we anchor the law, we engrave the truth upon the subconscious. These affirmations are not wishes, they are spiritual decrees. Speak them aloud, slowly, rhythmically. Let each word pass through your body like electricity. Let your tongue become a rod of divine power and your voice a trumpet of heavenly order. Say them now and say them boldly. Money comes to me swiftly, easily, and continuously. You are no longer chasing money. It comes to you. The chase is over. The struggle is ended. You have spoken your alignment, and now you receive with grace. I command divine supply, and it appears under grace in perfect ways. You are no longer begging. You are commanding. You are no longer waiting. You are receiving. Grace brings it gently. Law brings it precisely. Spirit brings it on time. I am in perfect harmony with all the wealth that belongs to me by divine right. There is no conflict, no guilt, no confusion. What is yours cannot be taken. What is yours does not belong to another. You receive it fully, freely, and lawfully. I walk in rhythm with abundance. I speak, and money moves. No longer do you guess. You know. You walk as one who is heard in heaven. You speak, and the gears of provision begin to turn. Infinite Spirit now opens every channel. My sentence has been spoken. My demonstration is certain. It is done. The sentence has left your lips and entered the machinery of spiritual law. The manifestation is no longer optional. It is inevitable. Now the final seal, say it with fire. My word is law. Money finds me. It is already done. Pause. Breathe. Let it settle in your bones. This is no longer a theory. This is your identity. You have become the word. You have become the channel. You have become the authority. And now, with the truth anchored, you are ready for the sacred invitation, the soft, spiritual call to continue walking this path, not as a seeker, but as a speaker of law. Now that you've spoken the law, now that you've received the sentence, now that you've accepted the 7-day command, you must not vanish back into forgetfulness. Divine law requires consistency. The subconscious mind requires reinforcement, and your spirit, having been stirred, now requires rhythm to sustain its rise. So I invite you, not as a follower, but as a fellow speaker of truth, to remain anchored in this vibration. Comment below and speak your decree into this space of power. Say, I speak the sentence, and money finds me now, not for attention, but for anchoring, for confirmation, for spiritual finality. If this word has awakened something in you, if your soul is now moving, if your mind is being reprogrammed, then remain close to the source of truth. Subscribe not for entertainment, but for alignment. Let each new teaching be another stone in your foundation. Let each rhythm of truth you hear keep you walking in law, not in fear. Come back often. Rewatch this 7-day challenge. Speak the sentence again and again until your results make you unshakable. And when your demonstration appears, and it will, return and share it, for your testimony becomes someone else's turning point. You are no longer the one who waits. You are no longer the one who wonders. You are now the one who speaks, the one who commands, the one who receives. You are now walking in spiritual dominion. And so it is. There is a river of abundance that flows through the universe, and each soul is meant to drink from it freely. This river knows no delay, no resistance, no lack. It moves swiftly, like a golden current, always searching for open hearts and expectant minds. When one aligns their inner word with divine law, money does not trickle in, money flows in, as naturally as the tide greets the shore. Wealth is not something to be chased, it is a presence to be received. When you declare with authority that money comes to you in unexpected ways, you set unseen forces into immediate motion. Invisible channels open. A door that seemed closed gives way. A forgotten path lights up beneath your feet. Money is energy, and energy responds to thought, to feeling, to spoken word. What is spoken with faith becomes substance, for the word is creative. As you speak, so it is formed. Within 10 minutes, the tide of your expectation can shift. The old thought of delay, of waiting, of struggle, falls away. In its place stands a radiant certainty. You do not beg for money, for begging is born of fear. You expect it, because it is yours by divine right. The universe does not withhold. It mirrors. It reflects the image you hold within. If your heart says, I receive, then the world must say, here it is. Money does not come from people, it comes through them. It does not come from one single source, for the universe has infinite channels. It may arrive in a gift, in a forgotten refund, in a sudden opportunity, in a message, in a door opening just when you thought it was too late. Divine supply is clever, swift, and precise. It moves like the wind, sometimes unseen, always undeniable. In this very moment, as you breathe, the current of abundance moves toward you. You may not yet see it with your eyes, but it is already set in motion. The unseen world precedes the seen. Just as a seed begins to sprout underground before a leaf appears, your wealth is already growing beneath the surface. Speak to it, call it forth. Say, I receive unexpected money now. I welcome the flow, and the flow responds. All resistance is but an illusion, a shadow on the bright wall of divine supply. Shadows cannot hold back the sun. Lack cannot hold back abundance. When the inner word is clear, the outer world obeys. The more you trust, the faster the current moves. It is not about time, it is about alignment. 10 minutes are enough when you stand in the vibration of receiving. Money is not distant, it is not delayed, it is already on its way. The universe delights in speed when the soul is ready. And now the soul is ready. To speak your desire with unwavering certainty is to align yourself with the creative law of the universe. Every word carries power, every thought shapes form, and every declaration sows a seed in the unseen garden of supply. When you speak from a place of absolute conviction, the energy of your word becomes a command rather than a wish. It moves through the invisible realm with precision and purpose, calling forth that which is already waiting to be received. Certainty is not loud, nor is it desperate. It is quiet, steady, immovable. It does not tremble or second guess. It stands like a pillar of light, firm in the knowing that what is spoken must come to pass. The universe listens not to fear, but to faith. It answers the tone of assurance, not the murmur of doubt. When you speak as if your desire is already fulfilled, you speak in the language the universe understands. Certainty is not born of force, but of inner alignment. It is the silent agreement between your heart and the infinite. It says, "This is already mine." And in that moment, the outer world begins to rearrange itself to mirror that truth. A mind that is uncertain sends out a signal of contradiction, building one moment and tearing down the next. But a mind that is unwavering sends out a single clear note, and the universe echoes it back without distortion. Your words become your architecture. Every sentence shapes a wall, every thought lays a brick, and certainty turns that structure from fragile sand into solid stone. When you speak your desire, do not speak from the place of wanting, for wanting implies absence. Speak from the place of possession, from the vibration of already having. To say, "I will receive," is to place your good in the future. To say, "I have received," is to bring it into now. The energy of certainty is magnetic. It does not chase, it attracts. Just as the sun does not run after the planets but holds them in place by its radiance, your certainty holds your desire in orbit until it must come into form. Doubt scatters energy, causing confusion, delay, and resistance. Certainty gathers energy, creating clarity, momentum, and manifestation. This is why it matters not only what you say, but how you say it. A declaration made with trembling hope does not carry the same weight as a declaration made with calm assurance. The tone of your inner voice speaks louder than the words themselves. When you speak with unwavering certainty, even the unseen forces align themselves to fulfill your command. To develop such certainty, one must understand that their desire is not something they must earn. It is already part of their divine inheritance. Abundance does not need convincing, it needs permission. The universe does not operate by negotiation, it responds to conviction. When you say, "Money flows to me easily," and believe it with the full force of your being, every corner of creation begins to conspire in your favor. Doors open, paths clear, and channels reveal themselves. The word unwavering means you do not allow outside appearances to dictate your inner truth. Even if the bank account shows a number that does not reflect your desire, your certainty remains untouched. Appearances are temporary shadows. Truth is eternal. This kind of certainty is not arrogance but spiritual authority. It is the authority of one who knows their place in the divine order. It is the recognition that you are not separate from the flow of abundance but part of it, one with it. Your word is the key that unlocks the door to what is already yours. When you speak, do not plead, do not hope, declare, command, claim. Let your words carry the weight of unshakable belief. Just as the ocean does not doubt its waves, you do not doubt your power to receive. Just as the sun does not question whether it will rise, you do not question whether your good will come. It is already set in motion the moment your word is spoken with certainty. The mind will sometimes whisper doubt, for it has been trained by appearances and past experiences. But certainty is not the absence of doubt. It is the refusal to let doubt rule. It is the steady hand that keeps the ship moving through the storm. It is the voice that says, "I know," even when the senses try to say otherwise. When you speak your desire, feel the truth of it settle in your body like a warm flame. Let that flame burn brighter than the flicker of fear. Let it speak louder than the echo of limitation. In that moment, your word becomes a decree, and the unseen responds as though it has heard the command of a king. Certainty is felt as much as it is spoken. It is in the calmness of your breath, the steadiness of your posture, the quiet power behind your tone. It does not reach or grasp. It simply is. It stands in the present moment unshaken, knowing the outcome is already complete. When you speak your desire from this place, you are not trying to make something happen. You are acknowledging that it is already done. You are aligning your inner state with the reality that already exists in the invisible realm. And when the inner and outer align, manifestation becomes inevitable. Your words create pathways through which energy flows. An uncertain word builds a crooked path. A certain word builds a straight road. When the road is straight, energy flows swiftly, and what you have declared reaches you without detour. This is why the practice of certainty is a discipline of the spirit. It requires training the tongue to speak only truth, training the mind to hold only the image of fulfillment, and training the heart to rest in trust. Each time you choose certainty over doubt, you strengthen the magnetic field around your desire, drawing it closer with irresistible force. The moment you speak your desire with unwavering certainty, you have already shifted timelines. The universe has received your word as law. It does not question. It does not hesitate. It moves according to the pattern you have impressed upon it. This is not a matter of chance, but of spiritual law. Just as gravity responds consistently, so too does the law of supply respond to the certainty of your word. To speak with unwavering certainty is to stand as a creator, not a beggar. It is to know that the unseen obeys your voice not because of force, but because of divine right. It is to stand in the authority of your being and let the universe echo your command. When you hold unwavering certainty, no external condition can shake it. Circumstances may appear otherwise, but they are simply catching up to your declaration. They are rearranging themselves, aligning, adjusting, preparing to reflect what you have already spoken. Time bends to certainty, not the other way around. Your declaration becomes the anchor that holds everything steady as the external shifts. And so you speak once, with power, with clarity, with the calm assurance of one who knows that their word is law. You do not chase after your desire. You stand, and it comes. You do not plead for it. You expect it. You do not wait in fear. You wait in knowing. Money flows through infinite channels, and this truth dissolves the idea that abundance must arrive in only one way. The universe is vast, intricate, and full of pathways unseen by the physical eye. To believe that money can come from only a single source is to place a wall where there should be an open gate. When you release that narrow belief, the flow of supply finds new and surprising ways to reach you. The divine current of provision is never blocked. It simply looks for the clearest path. When one channel appears closed, 1,000 more exist, waiting to open. Money is never lost. It only changes direction. And those who understand this truth walk with ease and quiet confidence, knowing they are never dependent on one stream alone. Every time you tie your expectation to a single person, job, business, or opportunity, you tighten the flow. You say, perhaps without realizing it, that abundance can only wear one face. But abundance has infinite faces. It wears the mask of chance encounters, unexpected gifts, long-forgotten refunds, inspired ideas, and doors you never even knew existed. To limit your belief is to limit the channels through which money can flow. To trust in infinite channels is to stand open to miracles. This openness is not passive. It is a powerful invitation. The moment you declare that money comes to you from expected and unexpected places, you set those unseen channels into motion. Money, like water, seeks the open vessel. If you place a cup beneath a stream, the water fills the cup. If you build a dam, the water flows around it, seeking another opening. When your mind is fixed only on one outcome, it becomes like that dam. But when you loosen your grip, allowing the flow to come from anywhere, you become like a wide riverbank, ready to receive the tide. This is why expectation must be coupled with surrender, not surrender in weakness, but in trust. You speak your desire with clarity, but you allow the universe to choose the path. It knows the fastest, clearest route, often bypassing the very place you are staring at so intently. The idea of infinite channels lifts you above fear. If one door closes, your mind does not spiral into panic, because you know countless other doors stand ready to open. This dissolves dependency, and dependency is one of the greatest blocks to abundance. When you believe that only one employer, one client, one opportunity can provide for you, you hand your power away. When you understand that supply flows through infinite channels, you reclaim that power. No single circumstance can hold your good hostage. No person or situation controls the river of wealth. The universe is the source. People and circumstances are merely vessels. Your belief in infinite channels also sharpens your awareness. You begin to notice what you once overlooked. A casual conversation becomes a doorway. A message you almost ignored contains an opportunity. A problem that once seemed like a dead end reveals a golden path. Infinite channels are always around you, but only the open mind can see them. Doubt narrows your vision, trust expands it. When you trust in infinite channels, you stop staring at the closed door and turn to see the open gate right beside it. Money is often waiting just beyond the veil of rigid expectation. This is why gratitude plays such a powerful role in attracting abundance. When you are grateful for the flow that already exists, you signal the universe that you are ready for more. Gratitude opens new channels because it removes the feeling of lack. Lack closes the heart. Gratitude opens it wide. In the open heart, money finds an easy way. The channels are not forced open, they are invited. Just as sunlight pours into a room when the curtains are drawn back, abundance rushes in when the mind stops clinging to narrow ideas. The infinite nature of supply means that opportunities can appear in ways that seem illogical to the rational mind. This is why it is important not to question how the flow will come. The how belongs to the universe. Your task is to hold the clear intention and remain receptive. A sudden inspiration to make a call, send a message, or take a small action can be the opening of one of those channels. It may not look grand or obvious, but the current of money often moves through simple, natural, everyday events. What seems ordinary to the eye may be extraordinary in spirit. Each channel is like a thread in a vast tapestry. You cannot see the entire design from where you stand, but the pattern is being woven with precision. A delayed payment may lead to a better opportunity. A closed path may push you toward something richer. When you trust the infinite, you no longer cling to the temporary. You let the flow rearrange itself without fear. Your calm expectation creates a magnetic field that draws in the right channels with perfect timing. Fear pushes the flow away. Trust pulls it in closer. Understanding infinite channels also frees you from attaching your worth to one source. If your income came from a single job and that job ended, you might once have felt lost. But with the awareness of infinite channels, you understand that the job was merely one vessel, not the source itself. The river still flows. The vessel may change shape, but the water never ceases. This shift in perception is a quiet kind of power. It removes panic, and in its place grows unshakable faith. That faith becomes a beacon, drawing new opportunities faster than before. The flow through infinite channels is often effortless once resistance is gone. Resistance can appear as worry, control, or disbelief. When you worry about how it will happen, you block the very path that is trying to open. When you try to control every detail, you create friction. But when you trust in the infinite, you let the current carry you. The flow becomes smooth, natural, and almost playful. Money can appear as if by magic, though it is not magic at all. It is the natural response of an open system to the abundance already in existence. Your words and thoughts act as instructions to this flow. When you say, "I receive money only from this source," the flow listens and limits itself accordingly. When you say, "I receive money through infinite channels, expected and unexpected," the flow stretches its arms wide and seeks every open path to reach you. The flow is obedient. It follows the shape of your belief. This is why expanding your belief expands your income. It is not about working harder, it is about opening wider. The moment your mind accepts infinite channels, your energy shifts, and so does your reality. It is not necessary to know where or how the money will come. That knowledge belongs to the larger intelligence that governs the flow. Your part is to remain certain that the channels exist and are active. Even now, as you breathe, they are moving. They are aligning people, places, and events in quiet, subtle ways that bring your good to you. The channels may appear suddenly, or they may build quietly beneath the surface like an underground river ready to emerge. Your trust is the invitation. Your certainty is the anchor. Your openness is the path. To live in this awareness is to walk through life with quiet power. It means you no longer look to one place with anxious eyes. You look in all directions with calm expectancy. You do not panic when a door closes because you know it is only one of many. You stop asking, "Where will it come from?" and instead declare, "It will come." The infinite channels are already in motion, weaving the invisible into the visible, turning potential into form. Your work is not to chase them down, but to stand ready, with your hands open and your heart wide, allowing them to do what they have always done. Flow activation activates swift manifestation, because it is the bridge between thought and reality. When expectation is set firmly, it signals to the unseen that the desired outcome is already certain. It is not a hope, not a wish, but a knowing. This knowing sends out a clear frequency that the universe recognizes and responds to without hesitation. Expectation is different from desire. Desire can exist with uncertainty, with longing and waiting, but expectation is the stillness that comes when the heart has already accepted that what is desired is on its way. It creates a magnetic pull, drawing events, people, and circumstances into alignment, as if invisible hands were arranging them with perfect timing. When expectation is pure, it has no tremor. It does not waver between belief and doubt. It stands like a bright flame that cannot be blown out. This is why expectation can create swift results, sometimes in ways that seem almost miraculous. The universe does not measure time the way the human mind does. It moves at the speed of alignment. The moment expectation is fixed, the delay begins to dissolve. The path clears because expectation does not leave room for hesitation. Doubt slows the flow like debris in a river, but expectation clears the current, allowing everything to rush forward freely. Expectation is the language of certainty, and certainty is what the universe obeys. When you expect something with your whole being, you are not waiting for it as a stranger waits at the door. You are welcoming it as a guest you know is already on the way. This changes your energy. You stop questioning when or how. You begin to act, speak, and think as if it is already yours. And because your energy has shifted, everything around you begins to shift with it. The outer world is only a mirror. When the inner state is expectation, the mirror reflects fulfillment. There is a quiet power in expectation that requires no force. You do not need to push the river when you expect it to flow. You simply stand on its bank, knowing the water is coming. This state of expectancy creates a subtle vibration, one that draws the very thing you are expecting. It is like tuning a musical instrument. When you strike the right note, other instruments around it begin to hum in harmony. When your energy hums with expectation, reality responds in kind. Opportunities emerge, doors open, the right people appear, and what was once invisible begins to take form. Many people confuse expectation with mere positive thinking, but expectation is deeper. It does not live on the surface of thought, but in the roots of belief. It is a state of being, not just a mental exercise. You can say 1,000 words of hope, but if your inner state does not truly expect the outcome, the words carry little weight. But one quiet, unwavering expectation, held in the heart, can move mountains of resistance. This is why manifestation often happens not when someone is trying the hardest, but when they finally rest in the certainty of receiving. Expectation creates an energetic pathway. It is as if you build a road with your belief, and the thing you desire travels that road directly to you. When there is no expectation, the road remains unbuilt. When expectation is strong, the road is smooth and clear, and manifestation can move swiftly. The universe does not need time, it needs clarity. And expectation is pure clarity in motion. The moment you stop questioning and start expecting, the manifestation begins to accelerate. Fear and doubt act like barriers across this pathway. They do not stop the flow completely, but they slow it down, sending the energy in circles. Expectation, on the other hand, is like lifting those barriers. It says to the universe, I am ready, I trust, I know it is done. And because the universe is always listening to the energy beneath the words, it responds to that trust. This is why expectation is such a powerful catalyst. It removes the friction between desire and fulfillment. You do not need to know how your expectation will be fulfilled. The how belongs to the infinite intelligence that moves behind the scenes. Your only task is to hold the expectation steady. If you plant a seed and constantly dig it up to check if it's growing, you disturb its growth. But if you plant the seed and trust that it is sprouting beneath the soil, it grows quickly and strongly. Expectation is the same. It is the quiet trust that the seed you have planted is already growing. It does not demand proof. It knows proof will come. When you expect something fully, your actions naturally align with that expectation. If you expect to receive, you prepare, you clear space, you speak with confidence. You move through your day with quiet assurance. This alignment between inner state and outer action accelerates manifestation even more. You are no longer sending mixed signals. Everything within you and around you points in one direction, and that clarity creates speed. Expectation is also powerful because it overrides appearances. The physical world often lags behind the unseen, like an echo following a sound. If you judge by appearances, you may falter, but expectation keeps you steady. Even when nothing seems to be happening, expectation knows it is happening beneath the surface. It does not let the outer world dictate the inner state. This is why those who expect with unshakable certainty often see results where others do not. They are not swayed by what their eyes show. They remain fixed on what their heart knows. Expectation does not require shouting, striving, or begging. It is calm, grounded, and sure. It is like the sky before sunrise, knowing the light is coming. This quiet confidence carries a frequency that reality cannot ignore. Every moment spent in expectation is a moment of building momentum. The energy gathers strength, and when the timing aligns, it appears suddenly, though it has been forming all along. Doubt can coexist with desire, but it cannot coexist with true expectation. This is why expectation must be cultivated. It grows stronger when you choose it over fear again and again. Each time you expect despite appearances, you anchor the energy more deeply. Each time you choose certainty over doubt, the current grows faster. And the more you practice this state of expectancy, the more natural it becomes, until expectation itself is your resting place. Expectation is not about control. It is not about forcing reality into shape. It is about aligning with what is already yours in the unseen. It is about claiming the outcome before it has taken physical form. It is about knowing that the moment you expected it, it began its journey toward you. The universe does not delay out of resistance, it only waits for your signal to be clear. Expectation is that clear signal, the lighthouse guiding the ship of your desire straight to your shore. When expectation is unwavering, everything bends to meet it. Time shortens, coincidences multiply, and paths align in ways the rational mind could not have planned. What once seemed distant begins to feel close, and then suddenly it is here. This is not a miracle in the sense of breaking laws. It is the natural response to an energy that leaves no space for doubt. The moment expectation takes root deeply enough, manifestation is no longer a question of if, but simply a matter of when, and that when is often much sooner than the mind believes. Resistance is only an illusion, a shadow cast by the mind that believes in limitation. It has no substance of its own. It appears real only when attention is given to it. Just as a shadow looks solid when stared at, but disappears when you turn toward the light. Resistance arises from doubt, fear, and the belief that what is desired is far away or difficult to attain. But the truth beneath the illusion is that abundance flows freely and constantly. The universe does not struggle to deliver what has already been spoken into existence. It moves smoothly, effortlessly, like a river following its course. What people call resistance is simply the fog of conflicting beliefs, a mirage that has no true power, except what is lent to it through focus. The nature of resistance is slippery, shifting shapes to match whatever fear it feeds on. Sometimes it appears as delay, sometimes as confusion, sometimes as a lack of opportunity, but these appearances are not barriers, they are reflections of inner hesitation. The moment one withdraws belief from resistance, it crumbles like mist in the morning sun. The flow of abundance is never truly blocked. It is only temporarily hidden behind a veil of false perception. This is why when a person stops wrestling with their own fear, everything they desired begins to move toward them with astonishing speed. The current was always there. They had simply been standing in their own way. Resistance thrives on attention. The more one stares at the closed door, the more solid it seems. But when the gaze turns away, when the mind stops narrating stories of lack and delay, the door ceases to matter, and often another door, already open, comes into view. The power lies not in trying to fight the resistance, but in seeing through it. You do not battle a shadow. You turn on the light. The light, in this case, is awareness, faith, and the quiet certainty that the flow is real and already moving. The moment you stop granting resistance the weight of truth, it fades, because it cannot stand in the presence of conviction. Many believe they must work harder to break through resistance, pushing, struggling, forcing outcomes. But struggle feeds the very illusion they want to dissolve. It adds weight to something that was weightless to begin with. The river does not need to be pushed to flow. It flows by its nature. The universe does not need to be convinced to provide. It provides by its nature. The only task is to step out of the way, to stop clutching at the illusion. When the mind relaxes its grip, the flow returns as if it had never left, because it never truly had. Resistance often disguises itself as logic. It says, "This will take time," or "This is not realistic," or "Things like this don't happen so easily." But these statements are not laws. They are habits of thought, echoes of old conditioning. They are like dust on a mirror, obscuring the reflection of abundance but never destroying it. When you wipe away those old beliefs, even gently, the reflection appears in its full brightness. The truth has always been there. The illusion never had real power. This is why sudden shifts can happen the moment someone stops believing in their obstacles. The illusion collapses instantly because it was never solid in the first place. Resistance also feeds on the idea of control. The more one tries to manage every detail of how things should happen, the more tangled the flow becomes. Control is the soil where resistance grows, but trust is the wind that clears it away. When you trust the unseen to do its work, the need to hold on tightly dissolves. In that loosening, resistance loses its grip, because it cannot exist in a mind at ease. Ease is the natural state of abundance. Tension is the mask of fear. When ease returns, so does the effortless movement of good toward you. The illusion of resistance often builds itself around time. The mind says, "It's taking too long," and that thought creates a sensation of delay. But the flow is not governed by the mind's calendar. It moves according to alignment, not time. The moment alignment is clear, time bends, paths clear, and events unfold quickly. This is why resistance can appear heavy for weeks or months and then vanish in an instant. The illusion was never about actual obstacles. It was about the story told around them. Change the story and the resistance melts like snow in the sun. There is also a subtle seduction in resistance. It gives the mind something to fight, something to fix, something to control. It creates the illusion of being busy, of striving for change. But this busyness often only circles the same point, like a wheel spinning in mud. True movement begins not when the fight intensifies, but when it stops altogether. The moment the illusion is seen for what it is, just thought, just belief, just air, the wheel catches traction, and forward movement becomes effortless. Resistance is never conquered through more resistance. It is dissolved through clarity. It is important to recognize how the body reacts to resistance, because resistance lives not only in thought but in feeling. It shows itself as tension, heaviness, tightness, restlessness. These sensations are signals, not barriers. They are the body's way of revealing that the mind is holding on too tightly. When you soften into those sensations instead of fighting them, the grip loosens. Breathing, stillness, and quiet awareness are often enough to pierce the illusion. The flow of abundance is always just beyond that thin wall of tension, waiting patiently. Resistance has no true root in reality because reality is abundant by design. Scarcity, delay, difficulty, all these are constructs built from fear. They have no foundation except belief. When belief shifts, they vanish. This is why some can receive with ease what others struggle to achieve through endless effort. It is not that the flow favors one person over another. It is that one person sees through the illusion while the other fights with it. The flow is neutral, constant, impartial. It answers clarity, not struggle. The most powerful shift happens when you begin to treat resistance not as an enemy, but as a mirage. You do not argue with a mirage. You do not beg it to disappear. You simply walk through it, and it vanishes because it was never real. Each time you walk through it, your trust grows stronger, and the illusion grows weaker. Eventually, what once felt like a wall becomes transparent, like mist that can no longer hold its shape. This is the quiet power of knowing that resistance is only illusion. It is not something to fear, not something to fix, not something to overcome. It is something to see through, something to stop feeding with thought and emotion. When you stop resisting resistance, it loses its last hiding place. The act of fighting it gives it form. The act of ignoring it makes it invisible. Abundance has always been flowing, and the illusion cannot change that. What it can do is distract, delay, and distort, but only to the extent you let it. Once the spell is broken, the current rushes forward as though it had been waiting for you to remember what was always true. The wall was never real, the flow was never gone. The illusion only lived in the mind's shadow, and shadows disappear the moment the light returns. Abundance answers a clear inner word because the universe is responsive, not resistant. It listens, not to scattered wishes, but to the steady tone of certainty. A clear inner word is a declaration without tremor, a frequency that cuts through noise, confusion, and contradiction. When you speak within yourself with clarity, you issue a command that reverberates through the invisible structure of reality. The energy around you organizes itself according to the clarity you hold inside. What is blurred within remains blurred without. What is focused within becomes tangible in the world around you. Abundance flows where the signal is strong, not where it flickers. The inner word is more than thought. It is not a passing idea or a hopeful whisper. It is the soundless voice of your being when it knows what it wants and refuses to waver. This inner word does not need to be shouted or repeated endlessly. Its strength lies in its purity. Just as a single clear note can fill a room more powerfully than a chorus of uncertain sounds, one unwavering declaration within can draw abundance faster than countless scattered affirmations. It is the difference between calling and mumbling. The universe responds to the call. When the inner word is confused, tangled with doubt and fear, the response from the outer world mirrors that confusion. Opportunities appear and disappear. Momentum starts and stalls. The energy cannot find a clear direction to follow. But when the inner word is sharp like a line drawn through still water, the outer world reflects it without delay. Clarity creates speed, it creates alignment. It removes the friction that mixed signals create. The universe is not punishing when it delays, it is only waiting for a clear instruction to follow. The clarity of the inner word comes from trust. Trust strips away all the noise, leaving only the core declaration. Trust says, "This is mine," and the word rings clean and strong. Doubt tries to add layers, to question, to complicate. But the pure inner word does not need explanations. It does not need backup plans. It simply exists as truth, spoken from within. The moment this word settles into the core of your being, everything outside begins to move around it, as if reality itself is listening and responding to its direction. Your inner word is like a tuning fork. When struck with certainty, it vibrates through the unseen and causes matching vibrations to appear in the physical. Events, people, opportunities, and resources align with that frequency. It is not necessary to chase them, they are drawn to the vibration. If the word is weak or filled with hesitation, the vibration falters and the response becomes scattered. But a clear, unwavering word acts like a beacon. Abundance cannot ignore it because it is woven into the same fabric of existence. It is a law, not a favor. This is why alignment matters more than effort. You can work tirelessly while your inner word remains uncertain, and the results will reflect that uncertainty. You can also speak once with perfect clarity, and the universe begins to shift. It is not the volume of your voice but the precision of your inner tone that calls abundance forth. The inner word is not about convincing anyone, not even yourself. It is about knowing. When you know, you do not need to repeat. The knowing speaks once and leaves the echo to do the work. A clear inner word is born when the mind stops fighting itself. It is formed in stillness, when the noise of doubt fades and only the simple, quiet truth remains. This is why silence is often more powerful than endless effort. In silence, the inner word sharpens. It becomes simple, direct, undeniable. It ceases to plead and begins to declare. It is in this state that abundance responds swiftly, The moment the word is clear, the flow is set in motion, and nothing external can resist it. The outer world is only a reflection. It does not initiate, it mirrors. If the reflection looks blurred, the mirror is not at fault. It is the image within that must be focused. When you align your inner word with the outcome you desire, the mirror has no choice but to reflect it. This is not a matter of force but of natural law. Just as water reflects the sky without effort, the world reflects your inner state without resistance. Your role is to create clarity within. The reflection follows on its own. Every thought you hold carries a tone, but not every tone is clear. Many people send out mixed messages, wanting and fearing, believing and doubting, reaching and retreating. This confusion creates delay, not because the universe withholds, but because it does not receive a single instruction. A scattered inner word builds a crooked path. A clear inner word builds a straight road. When the road is straight, the abundance that is already moving toward you arrives faster, without detour. Clarity does not mean shouting louder. It means stripping away what is unnecessary. It means deciding once and standing by that decision inwardly. It means no longer negotiating with fear, no longer rehearsing old doubts, no longer giving energy to uncertainty. The pure inner word stands alone, like a single flame in the dark, and everything that resonates with it moves closer. The flame does not chase, it draws. To speak the inner word clearly, the heart and mind must agree. If the mind speaks one thing but the heart whispers another, the signal becomes fractured. But when both move in harmony, the vibration is strong and undeniable. This harmony is not forced, it is allowed. It comes when you trust your desire as already valid, already real, already answered. When the heart trusts and the mind stops arguing, the inner word emerges effortlessly. The clear inner word has no attachment to how or when. It speaks once and lets the flow do its work. It does not tug at the seed it has planted. It does not stand in the field digging up the ground to check. It knows the seed is alive, and so it lets it grow. The moment doubt tries to creep in, the inner word remains steady. It does not bend to passing thoughts or outside appearances. It holds its form like a bell that keeps ringing long after it's struck. This is why some see swift manifestations while others wait for years. The difference is not in worth or luck, but in clarity. One speaks with a steady inner voice. The other whispers through layers of uncertainty. The universe does not pick favorites, it follows frequency. When the frequency is clean, the response is quick. When it is cluttered, the response is tangled. Clearing the inner word is clearing the path itself. Even when nothing seems to be happening, the clear inner word is at work. Its vibration moves through spaces unseen, weaving circumstances together in quiet ways. You may not witness the movement at first, but it is moving. This is why faith and clarity walk together. The clear inner word does not need constant reassurance. It trusts that the signal has been sent and the response is on its way. It does not waver each time the outer world takes a breath. When you hold a clear inner word, you become like a still center around which everything moves. The noise of the world loses its grip. The tides of doubt crash and fall away, unable to shake the certainty within. In this stillness, the flow of abundance becomes steady, direct, and swift. You no longer reach for it frantically, it comes to you, because it has heard you clearly. The call was made once, and the answer follows. The power was never in the outer noise, but in the quiet certainty of your inner voice.